Chapter 4737. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Dandan was immediately displeased. He opened his eyes wide and shouted, "What do you know? This kind of array formation is one with the entire palace. If you break a part of it, it will immediately repair itself. Unless you destroy the entire palace or control the entire palace, you won't be able to break it." Lu Ming did not say anything. He knew that Dandan's words made sense. In terms of array formations, Dandan was indeed an expert. "Let's walk a little more. If it really doesn't work, then forget it," Lu Ming said. Xian Yanqing, Dandan and Bone Demon had no objections. They understood that Lu Ming wanted to walk a little more because he wanted to confirm if this array formation was really that profound and safe. If it was safe, he could let Ling Yue continue to cultivate here. Later on, Lu Ming and the others tried a few more times, but the result was the same. They kept wandering around the periphery of the hall, unable to reach the core area. In the end, Lu Ming and the others gave up. "Let's go to the next place, the Sea of Time and Space," Lu Ming said. They had tried so many times, and with Dandan, a formation master, they were still unable to enter. Even if the people from the Heavenly Palace came, they would definitely not be able to enter. Ling Yue staying here to cultivate was safer than following them, so there was no need for her to come out. Their next target was the Bubble's cultivation ground, the Sea of Time and Space. However, when they arrived at the Sea of Time and Space, they stopped far away. The Sea of Time and Space was in a very remote place in the ruins of the universe. It was not a real ocean, and there was no seawater. Here, there was only a vast expanse of void. There was no substance in this void, nor were there any living beings. The void was constantly twisting and changing. It was hard to tell if it was real or not. At first glance, it seemed as if dozens of layers of space had appeared, but after a while, it seemed as if hundreds of layers of space had appeared. Such a scene caused everyone to stop in their tracks. After that, Lu Ming took out the sound transmission jade talisman, but it couldn't be sent out. It was blocked by a layer of energy. The space-time ocean is filled with space-time power. It's impossible to transmit sound, Dandan said. After saying that, Dandan waved his hand and a divine weapon flew out towards the space-time ocean. This was a master-grade divine weapon. A shocking scene occurred. When this master-grade divine weapon flew into the space-time ocean, it actually disintegrated rapidly, turning into dust and dissipating. In just a breath's time, a main-grade divine weapon had been silently reduced to ashes. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Even a main-level divine weapon had ended up like this. If a cultivator were to enter, it would most likely not be any better. It's impossible to enter this place unless you've grasped the power of space. Even reciprocity experts will struggle to enter, Jianchen said. Bone frowned. "That's great. Bubble is safe in there. Let's go to the next place, the Land of the Fallen Gods," Lu Ming said. The Land of the Fallen Gods was the place where the primitive god spirit and the heavenly human tribe had their final battle. It happened at the end of incipient god era. This battle determined the direction of the Eldritch universe. In the end, the heavenly human race won and established the heavenly palace to rule the universe. As for the primordial gods, almost all of them were killed. Only a few survived to resist the heavenly palace. This battle also happened in the ruins of the universe. There were too many experts who participated in the battle back then. If it happened in the universe, who knew how much damage it would cause? The Land of the Fallen Gods was made up of many fragments of continents. These fragments of continents varied in size. Many small fragments surrounded the largest fragment of continents. These fragments of continents were all blood red. They were dyed red by blood. Legend has it that this used to be a complete continent fragment. Its surface area was even larger than the 1,000-year battlefield. Later on, the primordial divine spirit and the celestial race fought and shattered the continent. The primordial divine spirit's blood dyed the continent red, causing the continent fragment here to be red, Xian Yanqing said. As they talked, they walked towards the Land of the Fallen Gods. As expected, the fragments of continents floating in the void were all red. There was a terrifying aura permeating the air. Powerful primordial gods and the heavenly human race had fallen here. Their blood contained the killing intent of these experts. It had not dissipated for billions of years. At this point, everyone became more cautious. Because this place used to have experts of the heavenly human race training here all year round. They might encounter experts of the heavenly human race. However, they did not encounter anyone of the heavenly human race along the way. They guessed that the heavenly human race had sent their experts to attack the Heaven Destroyer base. That was why they did not see any heavenly human race experts here. Soon, they set foot on the largest continent. This continent was also blood-red in color, and the air was filled with terrifying steam engines. The continent was full of potholes as if it was telling the tragedy of the battle back then. Fortunately, there was nothing unusual. They did not see any remains of the primordial gods. Lu Ming thought about it and understood. The heavenly palace must have occupied this place after the defeat of the primordial gods. The heavenly palace had most likely transported the bodies of the primordial gods away. The bodies of the primordial gods were treasures that were extremely beneficial for cultivation. Everyone sped up and headed toward the center of the continent. As they went deeper, they found that the air was filled with a layer of blood qi. The closer they got to the center of the continent, the thicker the blood qi. The blood qi contained terrifying qi and also contained terrifying offensive power. It was like steel needles that were about to pierce into the bodies of Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others used their skills to resist the qi. The three of them continued to move forward, but the blood qi became thicker and thicker. In the end, even their vision was greatly affected. Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from ahead. Lu Ming immediately recognized that it was the roar of the primordial gods. "Ahead!" Dandan exclaimed. Everyone quickly rushed forward. Then they saw several huge figures fighting. Each of the figures was incomparably huge. They stood indomitable and were more than 1,000,000 feet tall. Wan Shen. Lu Ming recognized at a glance that one of the figures was Wan Shen. He had enlarged his body and used various secret techniques to fight 3 figures alone. The other 3 figures were no smaller than Wan Shen. However, they were not real creatures. These 3 figures were condensed from blood qi. Although it looked very real, Lu Ming and the rest had good eyesight. They could tell at one glance. They were 3 primordial gods condensed from blood qi, and they were fighting fiercely with Wan Shen. "Good fellow, Wan Shen has already reached the 7th level of the Divine Master Realm. This place is indeed suitable for him. He probably obtained great benefits." Dandan cried out, full of envy and jealousy. After not seeing each other for more than 800 years, he realized that Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and Wan Shen's cultivation were far above his. He had become the one with the lowest cultivation. There was also Autumn Moon, Bubbles, and Ling Yue. He did not know their cultivation. If they were also above his, he would vomit blood. Chapter 4738. The battle between Wan Shen and the 3 primordial godly spirits formed from blood was extremely intense. Wan Shen was invincible and his body was filled with inexhaustible energy. Every time he punched, several terrifying secret techniques would burst forth to attack his enemies. But the most terrifying thing was his fist. It contained unparalleled power and destructive power, more terrifying than any secret technique. Wan Shen was like an invincible war god. However, the 3 primordial godly spirits formed from blood were also very powerful. They were locked in battle with Wan Shen. Those 3 primordial godly spirits formed from blood should be the remnant undying wills of the primordial godly spirits that died here. They use blood as a body to accompany Wan Shen in battle to help him cultivate. Guillemot said, the soul fire in his eye sockets jumping. No wonder Senior Fei Huang brought Wan Shen here. This place is really suitable for Wan Shen. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming and the others did not disturb Wan Shen's cultivation. Soon, half an hour passed. Wan Shen became more and more courageous as he fought and began to suppress the 3 primordial godly spirits formed from blood. In the end, he defeated 1 primordial godly spirit with a single punch. Then, he launched a fierce attack and defeated the last 2 primordial godly spirits. Then, Wan Shen's body rapidly shrank to normal size and flew toward Lu Ming and the others. "Lu Ming, why are you here?" Wanshan asked curiously. Of course, we're here to fight with you. Something big has happened. Before Lu Ming could speak, Dandan shouted. What happened? Wanshan's expression changed. It's like this, Dandan began to explain. Lu Ming was also happy to relax. What? Something like this actually happened? No wonder we haven't encountered a single heavenly human all these years. So that's why. Let's go. We'll kill our way back immediately. Wanshan roared. Wanshan, don't be rash. Lu Ming waved his hand and stopped Wanshan. I don't know how the heavenly human race managed to control the demons. Now, there are more than 20,000 Divine Lord experts. If we go over, it'll be like hitting a rock with an egg. We won't be of any use. Lu Ming said. Then what should we do? Myriad gods Dao. The gap between the two sides is simply too great. We have to find help. Lu Ming said. Helpers? Where would we find helpers? Now that even the demons are under the control of the heavenly palace, where would we find helpers? Myriad gods Dao. Lu Ming, you can't be thinking of looking for the quasi-saint race, right? As far as I know, the quasi-saint race is very ambitious and has hidden themselves very deeply. I'm afraid they won't help us. Xian Yanqing said. She had the memories of her past life, so she knew as much as Tang Jun, quasi-saint race is indeed unreliable. Lu Ming said. When he was fighting for the human king's body in the World of Rings, he had come into contact with the quasi-saint race. The strength of the quasi-saint tribe was definitely beyond his imagination. He could see that even the Yi Immortal was somewhat afraid of the quasi-saint tribe. However, the quasi-saint race's ambition was definitely not small. They had been very low-key for so many years, but when the human king's body appeared, they made a move in a high-profile manner. This was definitely not ordinary. The possibility of seeking their help was extremely low. Then what should we do? The myriad deities asked. Dark Universe. Lu Ming suddenly said. What? This time, even Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the others were shocked. Dark Universe? Could it be that Lu Ming wanted to seek the help of the evil demons? Was he crazy? Moreover, wasn't the evil demons controlled by the heavenly human race? The evil demons and the heavenly human race have been enemies since ancient times. The difference in strength between the two sides isn't big. How could the evil demons suddenly be controlled by the heavenly human race? Something big must have happened. I plan to go to the Dark Universe and investigate what exactly happened. If the evil demons can break free from the heavenly human race's control, the situation will immediately reverse. In addition, the heavenly human race only sent out 7,000 to 8,000 evil demons this time. Logically speaking, the number of evil demons should be more than 7,000 to 8,000. If the heavenly human race really controls the evil demons, the number of evil demons sent out should be more than 7,000 to 8,000. Perhaps there's something hidden inside? Lu Ming analyzed. Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Wanshan, and the others felt that this made sense. If they could find out what happened in the Dark Universe, or find a way to break the evil demons free from the heavenly human race's control, then the danger of Heaven Destroyer Station would naturally be eliminated. If it was in the past, they wouldn't have a way to enter the Dark Universe, nor would they dare to enter the Dark Universe. One was the entrance to the Dark Universe, which was guarded by the 4 heavenly palace. There were a large number of experts, so they couldn't enter at all. The other was that even if they could enter the Dark Universe, they would be killed by the evil demons. However, it was different now. Now that it was the Origin Tribulation, all the Origin Realm experts had sealed themselves. The Heavenly Palace had mobilized almost all the Almighty Realm experts to attack the Heaven Destroyer Station, including some of the evil demons. Now that they entered the Dark Universe, they could protect themselves. Afterward, they discussed the specific details and set off for the Dark Universe. There was more than one entrance to the Dark Universe. They chose the entrance to the Dark Universe guarded by the illusory Heavenly Palace. Several months later, they finally arrived at the entrance to the Dark Universe of the illusory Heavenly Palace. In the starry sky of the universe, there was a huge abyss, like a crack in the starry sky. The abyss was so huge that it was like a speck of dust compared to it. Around the abyss, there were hundreds of stars. In the past, There were countless Heavenly Palace experts stationed on these hundreds of stars. Among them, there were definitely many Almighty Realm experts, and there were even Origin Realm experts. However, Lu Ming's cultivation was too low when he came here in the past, so he couldn't sense the location of the Almighty Realm or Origin Realm. Back then, the Heavenly Palace's Heavenly Palace official said that the 5 Heavenly Palaces all guarded such an entrance to the abyss. However, the 5th Heavenly Palace is mysterious and unfathomable. No one knows where it is. In the starry sky of the universe, no one has seen it before. Is it really guarding an entrance to the abyss, or is it fake? Lu Ming pondered. There are also people from the Heavenly Palace guarding those stars, but there aren't many of them and they aren't strong. There isn't a single Almighty. Gu Mo's spiritual sense was powerful. He scanned the stars one by one, but no one discovered him. It seems that the demons are really under the control of the celestial race. Otherwise, the Heavenly Palace wouldn't be so relaxed and only have so few people stationed here. Lu Ming said. However, there wasn't a single Almighty here, which made it easier for Lu Ming and the others to move. Dandan used a formation to conceal everyone's aura and figure. They quickly flew toward the entrance to the abyss, and no one discovered them. After entering the abyss, they kept descending. Their speed was many times faster than when Lu Ming had first come here. The first time, Lu Ming had participated in the Heavenly Soldier examination and followed the Heavenly Official. It took him a day to reach the bottom. Now, it only took him half an hour to reach the bottom. There was a huge city on the ground below. It was built by the Heavenly Palace, and it was called Nantian City. It used to be used to fend off the demons, but now, there weren't many people guarding it. Chapter 4739. In Nantian City, Lu Ming and the others scanned the area with their spirit consciousness. They didn't find a single divine master and there weren't many people guarding it. Moreover, the protective array of Nantian City wasn't activated. It wasn't in a defensive state at all. It was as if the dark universe had become the backyard of the Heavenly Palace. There wasn't a single divine master, so naturally, no one noticed Lu Ming and the others. They easily passed through Nantian City and entered the territory of the demons. There were countless forces among the demons. According to their strength and danger level, they were divided into different levels by the Heavenly Palace. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, Level 4, Level 5. When Lu Ming participated in the Heavenly Soldier assessment, he entered the Level 2 area. These areas were filled with countless demons. Once a non-demon creature was discovered, it would attack. However, this time, Lu Ming and the others entered the territory controlled by the demons. They weren't attacked because all the demons were controlled. They were controlled by the heavenly human race. Lu Ming and the others found that there was 1 or 2 members of the heavenly human race in each demon force. All the demons were obedient and listened to the orders of the heavenly human race. Seeing this, Lu Ming and the others were very gloomy. They continued to move forward and passed by a large number of demon forces. Whether it was Level 2, Level 3, or Level 4 or Level 5, they all obeyed the orders of the heavenly human race. What happened in the dark universe? Why are all the demons obeying the orders of the heavenly human race? Wan Shen asked in shock. It's not just a few forces. It seems that the entire dark universe is the same. What kind of method can achieve such a shocking effect? Xian Yanqing said. Even though she had the memory of her previous life and was knowledgeable, she couldn't figure out what had happened. Anyway, this was definitely not a good thing for Heaven Destroyer. We'll know after we capture a few heavenly human race members and interrogate them. Lu Ming said. Then he started to take action. He quietly entered a Level 5 demon force and took down a heavenly human who was guarding the place. This heavenly human race member was only at the Divine Emperor realm, so he couldn't resist at all. In a remote place, you are Lu Ming. How dare you come to the dark universe? The celestial god emperor of the heavenly human tribe recognized Lu Ming at first glance and shouted in horror. He had not expected that Lu Ming would be so bold as to enter the dark cosmos at this time. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. Tell me, what happened in the dark universe? How do you control the demons? Lu Ming asked coldly. Don't even think about getting a single word out of me. The heavenly human race god emperor roared. Is that so? You really have a backbone. Unfortunately, not everyone has such a backbone. If you don't say it, someone else will. Go ahead. Lu Ming coldly spoke. Under the horrified gaze of the god emperor of the celestial race, he stomped his foot down. The body of the god emperor of the celestial race was torn into pieces, and he died on the spot. Then Lu Ming and the others went to another demon force and captured the heavenly human race member guarding there for interrogation. Just like Lu Ming said, not everyone had such a backbone. When they interrogated the third person, that person obediently spoke. It's the demon ancestor worm. The divine masters spread the demon ancestor worm into the air of the dark universe. The demon ancestor worm is extremely small, but it can enter the body of every demon through the air. The demon ancestor worm will corrode the demons. Once the demons are corroded by the demon ancestor worm, they can only obey our orders like puppets. The third heavenly human race god emperor said in a trembling voice. Demon ancestor worm? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Guimo, and Wan Shen were stunned as they had never heard of it before. What is the demon ancestor worm? Where did it come from? Lu Ming asked. I don't know. It's the top secret of my tribe. Even many divine masters don't know about it. We only know how to carry out missions. The heavenly human race god emperor said. Are all the demons in the dark universe controlled by the heavenly human race? Or are there some demon forces that haven't been controlled? Lu Ming asked again. There are indeed some demon forces that haven't been controlled by the demon ancestor worm. We don't know what's going on either. The heavenly human race god emperor said. The eyes of Lu Ming and the others lit up. What are those forces? Where are they located? Lu Ming continued to ask. There are 4 royal families of the demons. 2 of them have been controlled by us, and the other 2 are not. I have a map of the dark universe here. You can take a look. The heavenly human race god emperor took out a map from his storage ring as he spoke. Lu Ming took it and injected his energy into it. A map appeared out of thin air. It was indeed a map of the dark universe. The size of the forces in the dark universe were clearly marked on it, including the 2 royal families that hadn't been controlled. Everyone, I've told you everything I know. Can you spare my life? The heavenly human race god emperor looked at Lu Ming and the others anxiously. He had told them all in order to survive. Before he could react, the myriad god attacked and destroyed his body and soul with one move. You know we're here and you still want to live? How naive. The myriad god sneered, his eyes filled with killing intent. Let's go. Let's find the 2 royal families that haven't been controlled. Lu Ming said. Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the myriad god didn't say anything and followed Lu Ming. With the map, they didn't have to search blindly. Besides, almost no one in the dark universe could stop them, so they were extremely fast. Soon, they approached one of the territories occupied by the royal families. The royal family they first came to was called the Purple-Eyed Demon Race. There were a total of 4 royal families, and they were the strongest forces in the dark universe. Their bloodlines were powerful, far superior to other demons. They were also the most powerful. The 4 royal families occupied 2/3 of the dark universe's territory. The other demon forces were almost all subsidiary forces of the 4 royal families. Kill! Kill them! Lu Ming and the others were flying when they suddenly heard battle cries. Cold killing intent surged toward Lu Ming and the others like a tide. Following that, huge and burly figures rushed out from the surrounding mountains. These figures had wings on their backs, and they were all demons. Moreover, they were extremely powerful, all at the Godlord realm. Among the demons, they were known as demon lords. A total of dozens of demon masters charged toward Lu Ming and the group. Lu Ming's group of 5 had sharp spiritual senses. They immediately reacted and blocked these attacks. The newcomers are very strong. Stand down and leave them to us. A dignified voice came from the sky, and then a violent pressure pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. Following that, several terrifying attacks attacked Lu Ming and the others. Peak God Lord. Lu Ming and the others didn't need to look to know that these attacks came from peak God Lord experts. They were extremely terrifying. Chapter 4740. Those who attacked Lu Ming and the others in the sky were definitely peak demon lord existences. They were very powerful and there were quite a number of them. Leave it to me. Bone Demon roared and rushed up. He didn't use the source-level divine weapon, and his pitch-black palms continuously slashed out. Bang, bang, bang. Many explosions sounded in succession. Bone Demon's figure landed back on the ground, completely fine. As for the peak demon lord in the sky, he was knocked back explosively. Only now did Lu Ming realize that there were a total of 7 peak demon lord figures in the sky, but facing Bone Demon, they were completely at a disadvantage. At the same time, Lu Ming also discovered that these demons were very different from the demons that Lu Ming had seen before. These demons were only slightly taller than humans, and their figures were also more slender. At the same time, their appearance was closer to humans. The demons that Lu Ming had encountered before all had wide mouths and fangs, and their faces were ferocious. But these demons didn't. Their appearance was almost no different from humans. It was just that they still had a pair of demon wings on their backs. And their eyes were all purple. Purple-eyed demon race. Lu Ming understood that these people should be one of the 4 royal demon races, the purple-eyed demon race. These people were indeed not controlled by the celestial race. At this moment, these 7 demons looked at Bone Demon in shock. Bone Demon's strength was too strong. The 7 of them working together were actually not his match. What powerful strength! Looks like a top lord of heaven from the heavenly palace has come. Very good, killing you all will be a great loss to the heavenly palace. Not far away, a cold voice came. Following that, a group of people stepped on the air and came over. This group of people had a total of over 100 people. They were all purple-eyed demons, and each demon emitted a terrifying aura. Demon Lord over 100 people, and they were all Demon Lord existences. Lackeys of the heavenly palace, kill! One of the demon lords stepped out, holding a pitch-black demon blade in his hand. His body emitted a terrifying aura. The demon wings on his back flapped, and his figure was like a bolt of black lightning, pouncing towards Bone Demon. This person actually wanted to fight Bone Demon alone. The demonic saber slashed out, and the terrifying saber light went straight for the Bone Demon's head. The Bone Demon was fearless. It faced the enemy with its bone palm, striking out with a palm. With a clang, the bone palm and the demonic saber collided, causing a violent explosion. The demon lord's body trembled violently, and he retreated rapidly. The demonic saber in his hand actually had a hole in it. That was a main-grade divine weapon, not a source-grade divine weapon. You want to fight me alone? How naive. You're simply displaying your slight skill before an expert. Guillermo snorted coldly. His body was like lightning as he charged towards the other party. His bone palms struck out continuously, forcing the other party to retreat continuously. The surrounding purple-eyed abyssals were all shocked. That Devil Master who attacked was a top-notch Devil Master in the Devil Clan. Among the Devil Masters, there weren't many who could match him. However, he wasn't a match for Guillermo at all. The other party's strength was too shocking. In fact, it wasn't that this demon lord wasn't strong. On the contrary, his strength was astonishing. His combat power was almost on par with the strongest 4 Lord of Heaven in the Heavenly Palace. Even if it was a little lacking, it wouldn't be too far off. However, it was a pity that he was restrained by Guillermo. Guillermo was the ancestor of the demonic path, and abyssals were also abyssals. The other party's demonic chi was restrained by Guillermo, and his combat power couldn't be displayed at all. Even if Guillermo didn't use a divine weapon, he could still easily defeat the other party. Let's attack together. Why talk about fairness with the Heavenly Palace's trash? Yes, let's attack together. The other abyssals roared. Suddenly, more than a dozen abyssals pounced towards Lu Ming and the others. Everyone, stop. We're not from the Heavenly Palace. Lu Ming roared. Don't try to quibble. Do you think we'll believe you? Kill them. More than a dozen abyssals instantly closed in on Lu Ming and the others. They exploded with terrifying attacks, pouring towards Lu Ming and the others. Boom, Lu Ming had no choice but to attack. He took out the War God Spear and clashed with two Peak Devil Masters, blocking their attacks. At the same time, Dandan, Wan Xin, and Xianyanqing also attacked. The tortoise shell behind Dandan's back rapidly expanded. The tortoise shell was covered with dense runes. These runes were very small, and mortals couldn't see them with their naked eyes. Countless tiny runes intertwined with each other to form different formations. These didn't exist before. Clearly, Dandan had obtained them from the myriad transformations ruins. One of the rune arrays emitted a resplendent light. In the sky, several huge shields suddenly appeared. The attacks of several Peak Devil Masters bombarded these shields, but they didn't break through. "Ha, I'll let you have a taste of my array from the last era." Dandan laughed proudly. On the other side, Xianyanqing was fighting several Peak Devil Masters alone, and he wasn't at a disadvantage at all. Wan Xin roared, and his body rapidly expanded. His blood boiled and his muscles bulged. With a punch, he blasted away the attack of a Peak Devil Master. Wan Xin's divine power has mutated. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Wan Xin's divine power was originally one of the strongest among the primordial divine powers. But now, it had mutated and become even more terrifying. Just like Shi's divine power had also mutated. However, Wan Xin's mutated divine power seemed to be even stronger and more terrifying than Shi's. Guimo was only a 7th-level divine master, but he could fight a Peak Devil Master alone. In terms of combat strength, although he was slightly inferior to Lu Ming, he wasn't far off. The surrounding evil demons were dumbfounded. They were completely shocked. The combat strength of Lu Ming and the others was too strong. Each and every one of them was a freak. When did the Heavenly Palace produce so many freaks? We can't let these people go. Take this opportunity to kill them all. We'll definitely make the Heavenly Palace suffer heavy losses. Yes. More evil demons roared and wanted to attack together to kill Lu Ming and the others. Everyone, you've misunderstood. We're not from the Heavenly Palace. We're from Heaven Destroyer. We're here to cooperate with you. Lu Ming continued to roar. Bullshit, who would believe you? A evil demon who was fighting with Lu Ming roared and continued to attack. Stuff. At this moment, a clear voice rang out. This voice seemed to have some kind of magical power. After it rang out, all the evil demons stopped and retreated. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the voice. The one who spoke was a young evil demon. Moreover, it was a woman. This woman was almost no different from a human. She had a graceful figure and looked like she was bursting with divine material. She wore a long purple dress and had a pair of purple gem-like eyes. Even among humans, she would be a peerless beauty. However, Lu Ming was sure that she was an evil demon. Although the evil demon wings on her back were retracted, the aura she emitted was definitely that of an evil demon. Her cultivation was at the 6th-level Divine Master realm. Princess, these people must be the peerless geniuses that the Heavenly Palace carefully nurtured. Shouldn't we get rid of them? An evil demon asked. They might not be from the Heavenly Palace. They just said that they're from Heaven Destroyer. The young woman smiled. Chapter 47-41. The young woman's smile was filled with a myriad of emotions. It wasn't hard to tell that she was the princess of the purple-eyed fiend race. Princess, don't trust them so easily. Some fiends advised. You're right. The fiend princess nodded and looked at Lu Ming and the others. Do you have any way to prove that you're not from the Heavenly Palace but from the Heaven Destroyer? Is there a need to prove it? The primitive divine spirits and the heavenly human race are enemies. I'm a primitive divine spirit. How can I be from the Heavenly Palace? Wan Xin shouted. You're right. The primitive divine spirits and the heavenly human race are enemies. You're also a primitive divine spirit, but there are more than one primitive divine spirits controlled by the heavenly human race in history. The fiend princess smiled. You? Wan Xin was speechless. Then what about the forbidden body? Lu Ming asked. Forbidden body? The fiend princess' eyes lit up. I've heard that the forbidden body and the heavenly human race are enemies. Could it be that one of you is a forbidden body? I'm a forbidden body. Lu Ming said. You're a forbidden body? Almost all the fiends looked at Lu Ming. Princess, we've never seen a forbidden body. We can't tell if he's a forbidden body, a fiend said. You're right. These fiends were really cautious. Lu Ming was speechless. But it was understandable. Now that the fiends were in danger, anyone would be more cautious. Do you have any evidence to prove that you're from the Heaven Destroyer? If you can, we can sit down and talk. The fiend princess said. Easy. Lu Ming smiled and took out a rest image stone calmly. When they were fighting for the human king's body in the world of light, everyone was suppressed to the first level of the Divine Master Realm. Many people secretly recorded the battle with the rest image stone, especially the battle between Lu Ming and Yi Immortal. Back then, Fei Huang had also seen the battle between Lu Ming and Yi Immortal. That was how she figured out the true identity of the Yi Immortal. In order to study Yi Immortal's Genesis techniques, Lu Ming had made a copy of them. Now they could finally be put to good use. An image appeared on the breathing shadow stone. It was an image of his battle with the heavenly human tribe. Looking at this scene, there was no doubt that Lu Ming was a member of Heaven Destroyer. This was because it couldn't be faked, as both sides had several thousand divine masters on their side. They really are Heaven Destroyer's men. The surrounding demons finally retracted their auras. The demon princess, accompanied by several experts, walked towards Lu Ming and the others. I'm sorry, there was a misunderstanding just now. The demon princess said. I understand. If it were us, we would also be so cautious. Lu Ming said, putting away the rest shadow stone. I'm Zixian. How should I address you? The demon princess said. Lu Ming and the others reported their names. Everyone, how did you enter this place? Won't the people of the Heavenly Palace stop you? In history, no one outside the Heavenly Palace has ever entered this place. Zixian asked curiously. Now that the world has changed, the Heavenly Palace has deployed all the experts to attack the Heaven Destroyer's base. They are not on guard against the Dark Universe. Then, Lu Ming briefly explained the current situation of the primitive universe. I see. I didn't expect the situation to be so tense. Zixian's face also became serious. Princess Zixian, since you are not controlled by the demon ancestor insect, why don't you take the opportunity to attack? The Heavenly Palace is not on guard now. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Lu Ming said. If the demons could attack, they would be able to restrain part of the Heavenly Palace's forces, and the Heaven Destroyer would have more chances to turn the situation around. It's not that we don't want to attack, but we can't. Zixian sighed. What do you mean? Lu Ming asked. Do you think we are not affected by the demon ancestor insect? None of the demons in the Dark Universe can escape the demon ancestor insect's influence. We can only suppress it with a special method, but we can't suppress it for too long. Every once in a while, we have to enter a specific place to suppress it again. Otherwise, we will be completely eroded by the demon ancestor insect. Zixian smiled bitterly. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others' hearts sank. It turned out that the purple-eyed demons were also eroded by the demon ancestor insect. They could only suppress it with a special method, but they could not leave for a long time. Then, wouldn't no one be able to restrain the Heavenly Palace? What is the demon ancestor insect? Is there a way to completely remove it? Lu Ming asked. There is. Zixian said. What is it? Maybe we can help. Lu Ming said. Zixian seemed to have thought of something, and her purple eyes suddenly brightened. Speaking of the demon ancestor insect, we have to start from the source. If you don't mind, why don't you follow me to Modu? Zixian said. Sure. Lu Ming nodded without hesitation. They, the Heaven Destroyer, had no enmity with the myriad demons. On the contrary, they had a common enemy. He believed that the purple-eyed demons would not harm them. Immediately, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others followed Zixian and the others to Modu. Modu was the capital of the purple-eyed demons. Its full name was Purple-Eyed Demon City. On the way, they learned that the Origin Realm experts of the purple-eyed demons had sealed themselves because of the Origin Tribulation. Now, the purple-eyed demons were temporarily managed by Zixian. Zixian naturally had brothers and sisters, but Zixian was the most talented of them all. She was the #1 prodigy of the younger generation of the purple-eyed demons. Her prestige in the purple-eyed demons was very high. Soon, they arrived at Modu. Zixian set up a banquet. Everyone ate and drank while chatting. We also verified many times before we finally found the origin of the demon ancestor insect. If our deduction is correct, the demon ancestor insect should be refined by the heavenly human race using the flesh of the demon ancestor and some other materials using a unique method. Zixian explained. The flesh of the demon ancestor? How did it fall into the hands of the heavenly human race? Lu Ming asked curiously. Lu Ming, don't you know the origins of the heavenly human race and us demons? Zixian glanced at Lu Ming and asked. I don't know. Lu Ming shook his head. Not only him, but Xian Yanqing, Guimo, Dandan, and Wanshan also shook their heads. Then, they looked at Zixian expectantly, wanting to hear some secrets from her. There's nothing to hide. The heavenly human race and the demon race are from the previous era. Zixian said. What? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were all shocked. Their eyes couldn't help but widen. The heavenly human race and the demon race were actually from the previous era. Were they a great clan from the previous era? Were they residents of the primitive continent? Had they experienced the change of era and passed down until now? It was simply inconceivable. Legend had it that at the end of the previous era, a great war broke out in the primitive continent. The primitive continent shattered and everything was destroyed. Nothing was left. The entire universe was turned into ruins. The heavenly human race and the demon race actually survived. Chapter 47-42. In the previous era, the Eldritch continent was dominated by the human tribe, the demon tribe, and the sorcerer tribe. These three tribes almost ruled the entire Eldritch continent. Among them, the human race was the most powerful. The monster race and the Wu people might not be as powerful as the human race. The heavenly human race and the fiend race were actually the servants of the human race. Zixian continued to explain. Her words were simply astonishing. Lu Ming and the rest were dumbfounded. The heavenly human race and the fiend race were the servants of the human race in the last era. Don't be surprised. It's recorded in the ancient books of the fiend race. Besides, the heavenly human race wasn't called the heavenly human race at first, but the demi-human race. They changed their name to the heavenly human race in the new era. It means the sky of the human race. How ridiculous! Do they think that a name can change the fact that they used to be servants? Zixian sneered. Lu Ming and the others were stunned. They didn't expect that there were so many secrets hidden behind. What they knew before was probably just the tip of the iceberg. Later on, an earth-shattering war broke out in the primitive universe. The primitive continent was shattered, producing a destructive energy that wiped out all living beings. The heavenly human tribe and the demon tribe were lucky, and only a portion of their people survived. Zixian continued. Legend has it that when the untainted land was destroyed in the last era, even the transcendents died and all living beings were destroyed. How did the fiend race and the heavenly human race survive? Lu Ming asked curiously. We were just lucky. Zixian said casually as if she didn't want to talk about it. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he didn't ask more. He knew that Zixian was hiding something, but since she didn't want to talk about it, he didn't want to ask more. After all, this was someone else's territory. Some of the ancestors of the Devil clan participated in the Great War on the primitive continent and died there. Most of them were left somewhere in the ruins of the universe and were found by the heavenly humans. Then they were refined into devil bugs. The bloodlines of fiends are extremely strict. The demonic ancestral insects they refine from the flesh of fiend progenitors possess an extremely great suppressive effect on younger fiends like us. That's why we're so easily corroded. Even reciprocity existences struggle to resist because it's a suppression that originates from the bloodline. Zixian continued to explain. Lu Ming and the others finally understood the origin of the demonic ancestral insects. The demonic ancestral insect was refined by the heavenly human tribe using the flesh and blood of the demonic ancestral insect that had died in the primordial continent during the last era. Why do you demons have a feud with the heavenly human race? Logically speaking, you were once the subordinates of the desolate human race. This time, it was Xian Yanqing who asked. In fact, this was also the question that Lu Ming, Dandan, and the others wanted to ask. That's because the heavenly human race is despicable and shameless. They trapped my race in this dark universe. Flames of hatred burned in Zixian's eyes. Lu Ming and the others were stunned. Were the fiends not originally in the dark universe because of the heavenly human race? Speaking of this, it's a very long story. It's also related to why my purple-eyed fiend clan was able to temporarily resist the demonic ancestral insect. Zixian continued. Lu Ming and the others perked up their ears to listen. The reason why the purple-eyed fiends were able to temporarily resist the demonic ancestral insect's corrosion was because we had the powder of the demonic ancestral blood crystal. Zixian explained. The powder of the demonic ancestral blood crystal? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were still puzzled. They discovered that what they were hearing today was something they had never heard of before. That's right, the powder of the demonic ancestral blood crystal. As the name implies, the powder of the demonic ancestral blood crystal comes from the demonic ancestral blood crystal. The demonic ancestral blood crystal is the fiend clan's most precious treasure. According to legends, it's related to the birth of the fiend clan. It's incomparably ancient and is the fiend clan's foundation and source. It's even older than the fiend clan's primogenitors. My clan blends the demonic ancestral blood crystal powder into water and soaks us in it. Borrowing the power of the demonic ancestral blood crystal powder, we can suppress the demonic ancestral insect. Zixian explained. Lu Ming and the others understood. The reason why the demonic ancestral insect could corrode the fiend clan was because it was refined from the flesh of the fiend clan's primogenite. The demonic ancestral blood crystal could suppress the fiend clan's primogenitor in terms of level. Therefore, it could suppress the demonic ancestral insect. Unfortunately, the demonic ancestral blood crystal powder we have is too little. After being diluted with water, its power has weakened greatly. It can't destroy the demonic ancestral insect in our body. It can only suppress it for a short period of time. After a while, the demonic ancestral insect in our body will become active again. We have to enter the water again and borrow the power of the demonic ancestral blood crystal powder to suppress the demonic ancestral insect. Zixian sighed. You mean, if the demonic ancestral blood crystal powder isn't too diluted, it can completely destroy the demonic ancestral insect in your body? Lu Ming asked. That's right. However, the amount of demonic ancestral blood crystal powder we have is too little. Moreover, there are too many clansmen. We can't just use it to save a few people and ignore the majority. Zixian said. Then, how can we obtain more demonic ancestral blood crystal powder? Or, how can we obtain a complete demonic ancestral blood crystal? Lu Ming asked. This is what I want to tell you. It's about the origin of the grudge between the fiend clan and the heavenly human clan. In fact, the demonic ancestral blood crystal is in the dark universe. Zixian said. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others' eyes flashed, but they didn't say anything. They knew that Zixian would continue. After the previous era ended and the era changed, it evolved into the current primitive universe. The fiend clan and the heavenly human clan were lucky enough to survive. Unexpectedly, the heavenly human clan obtained the fiend clan's supreme treasure, the demonic ancestral blood crystal. They didn't return the demonic ancestral blood crystal to the fiend clan. Instead, they placed the demonic ancestral blood crystal in the dark universe and sent the news to the 4 royal demon clans. The demonic ancestral blood crystal is the fiend clan's supreme treasure. The 4 royal demon clans wanted to control it in their own hands. Therefore, the 4 royal demon clans led all the fiend clan members and rushed into the dark universe to fight for the demonic ancestral blood crystal. When the 4 royal demon clans and their subordinates entered the dark universe, the heavenly human clan took the opportunity to block the entrance and prevent the fiend clan from returning to the primitive universe. They also killed all the remaining fiend clan members in the primitive universe. In the beginning, the 4 royal demon clans didn't pay attention because they wanted to fight for the demonic ancestral blood crystal. By the time they reacted, it was already too late. The exit had been completely blocked. The heavenly human clans sent a large number of powerhouses to guard it. The fiend clan fought each other for the demonic ancestral blood crystal and suffered great losses. They wanted to rush out, but it was already too late. After Zixian's explanation, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the others finally had a general understanding of the grudge between the Fiend clan and the Heavenly Human clan. They also knew why the Fiend clan members stayed in the Dark Universe. Chapter 47-43. According to Zixian, the Fiend race was stronger than the Celestial race at the beginning of this epoch. But because the four royal races fought each other, their strength weakened rapidly. In the end, their overall strength became weaker than the Celestial race, and they were blocked in the Dark Universe by the Celestial race. Then, what about the Demon Ancestor Blood Crystal? Which race did it end up in the hands of the four royal races? Lu Ming asked. Sigh, no one got it. Zixian shook her head and sighed. The treasure box that contained the blood crystal of the demon ancestor had long been enchanted by the human king. When the four royal demon clans were fighting for it, they accidentally triggered the enchantment on the treasure box. The enchantment opened and covered all directions. All the demons that were enveloped by the enchantment were turned into ashes. Many of the experts of the four royal races died under the seal. A seal set up by the human king? The human king. Lu Ming's heart trembled. You already know that the fiend race was once the servants of the human race. The seal set up by the human king is extremely effective against the fiend race. So, even if the demon ancestor blood crystal is somewhere in the dark universe, and every fiend knows where it is, they can't get it. As long as they step into the range of the seal, they will be turned to ashes. This is the same for the celestial race. There were celestial race members who once stepped in and wanted to take away the demon ancestor blood crystal, but they were also turned to ashes. Zixian said, Oh, there were celestial race members who wanted to take away the demon ancestor blood crystal? Lu Ming asked curiously. That's right. The celestial race wanted to cut off the fiend race's path of retreat, so they couldn't cultivate. Zixian said. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the others were even more curious. Zixian seemed to have guessed what Lu Ming and the rest were thinking. She continued, Are you curious about how the demon clan is trapped in the dark universe and can't enter the ruins of the universe to search for resources? How do the Almighty Realm and the Origin Realm cultivate and advance? Lu Ming and the others immediately nodded. Actually, this question had been hidden in Lu Ming's heart for a long time. In the primitive universe, once one's cultivation reached the godly master realm, one would have to enter the universe's ruins to search for resources to increase their cultivation. For example, the Great Desolation Crystal and the main level Divine Medicine could help divine masters improve. Treasures that contained origin imprints could help reciprocity experts increase their cultivation. None of these existed in the universe. Logically speaking, there shouldn't be any in the dark universe. How did the demons improve? If they couldn't improve, the demons would have been destroyed by the Heavenly Palace a long time ago. It's still because of the ancestral fiend blood crystal. Although the treasure box containing the demon ancestor's blood crystal is covered with a spirit formation that prevents us from approaching it, the aura of the demon ancestor's blood crystal is still leaking out non-stop. It's affecting a very large area around it. The area within billions of miles of the ancestral devil blood crystal is affected by the ancestral devil blood crystal, producing a type of bloodstone. Even if a devil lord realm abyssal were to absorb this bloodstone, their cultivation would increase. And within the bloodstone, there's an extremely high chance of producing a bloodstone of an extremely high grade. Even for reciprocity experts, it's extremely helpful. It's like treasures with origin imprints. The celestial race had never thought of this. They originally wanted to trap the demon race in the dark universe. Without resources, the demon race would become weaker and weaker, eventually being destroyed by them. However, they never thought that the blood crystal would have such an effect. Later on, they regretted it. They wanted to take the blood crystal away, but it was already too late. They couldn't even approach the blood crystal. Zixian sneered. Lu Ming and the others were stunned. So that was how it was. The heavens were truly clear. The cycle of cause and effect was truly unpredictable. In the past few years, the demon race has slowly recovered a sliver of vitality through the bloodstone produced by the blood crystal. If it weren't for the deep enmity between the four royal races, our strength wouldn't be much weaker than the heavenly palace. Zi Xian sighed. After a moment of silence, she said again, "All right, I've pretty much told you the history of the enmity between the celestial race and the demon race. This time, I want to ask for your help in retrieving the blood crystal." Lu Ming was shocked. He said, "Even the experts of the celestial race and the demon race failed. Do you think we can do it with just the few of us?" "I can't say for the others, but the two of you might be able to do it because you're both humans." Zi Xian's gaze moved between Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. The barrier was cast down by the human king. The celestial race and the demon race possess terrifying killing power, but they might not be able to harm humans. It's a pity that our demon race is trapped in the dark universe and can't leave. As a result, we haven't been able to find human experts to help us all these years. Zi Xian sighed. The demon race can't find human help, but can't the celestial race? Perhaps the celestial race has already tried to find human experts. Lu Ming said, "The celestial race had controlled the universe for countless years. It was very easy for them to find a few human experts to help them during this period." "Impossible. The celestial race has already approached the ancestral fiend blood crystal once. After that, the four royal demon races sent a large number of experts to guard around the ancestral fiend blood crystal. The celestial race never had a chance to get close to the ancestral fiend blood crystal again." Lu Ming, think about it. Only by getting the ancestral fiend blood crystal can our race completely get rid of the ancestral fiend worm's corrosion and send troops to deal with the celestial race. Only then can the Heaven Destroyer be saved. Zi Xian said, "Okay, I'll help you get the ancestral fiend blood crystal." Lu Ming agreed almost without hesitation. Because there was no way out now. If they couldn't help the demon race get rid of the ancestral fiend worm's corrosion and send troops to deal with the heavenly palace, the Heaven Destroyer's crisis wouldn't be resolved. For the time being, this was the only way to go. "Good. You rest for 2 days. 2 days later, we'll set off," Zi Xian said. She raised her wine cup and gave a toast to Lu Ming and the others. 2 days later, Zi Xian led a group of experts to the location of the ancestral fiend blood crystal. The location of the ancestral fiend blood crystal was originally at the intersection of the four royal races' territories. The four royal races had sent experts to guard it, and each of them occupied a territory to mine the bloodstones. However, because of the ancestral fiend worm, 2 of the 4 royal races have been controlled by the celestial race. Only the silver-winged race and the purple-eyed race have managed to suppress the ancestral fiend worm because they have kept some of the ancestral fiend worm's powder. They can still control themselves and move freely. Now, only the silver-winged race and purple-eyed race have experts guarding the ancestral fiend blood crystal. Zi Xian said, "Silver-winged race? Will we be stopped by the silver-winged race when we go there?" Lu Ming asked. "No, the 4 royal races are actually divided into 2 factions and they are fighting against each other. The silver-winged race and purple-eyed race are allies. Once we get the ancestral fiend blood crystal, we can get rid of the ancestral fiend worm of both races. At that time, both of our races will send troops to deal with the celestial race." Zi Xian said. Chapter 47-44. Lu Ming and the others were overjoyed. If the 2 demon royal families sent out their troops at the same time, he would be more confident in dealing with the heavenly palace. It seemed like they had to get the ancestral demon blood crystal. Actually, at the beginning, the 4 demon royal families had some ancestral demon blood crystal powder. However, the other 2 families had used it up due to other reasons. The silver-winged race and the purple-eyed race had kept it. It could only be said that they were under the ancestral demon's protection. Zi Xian sneered. Her voice was mocking as if she was mocking the other 2 demon royal families. The dark universe was vast and boundless. Although it was not as vast as the universe, it was still extremely shocking. They took a few days to arrive at the location of the ancestral demon blood crystal. It was a vast and boundless plain. The ancestral demon blood crystal was in the center of the plain. Even from far away, they could see the light in the center of the plain. The barrier on the ancestral demon blood crystal covers a radius of 100,000 miles. We can't get close, Zixin said. At this moment, a group of demons flew over. Zixin, are they the human experts that you mentioned? A burly demon asked. This demon's eyes were not purple like Zixin's but black. However, his demon wings were silver as if they were made of silver and had a metallic texture. He looked very similar to a human and was not as ferocious. The silver-winged race. Lu Ming and the others knew that this was most likely one of the 4 demon royal families, the silver-winged race. That's right, In Kong. They are human experts from the Heaven Destroyer. I have sent someone to inform you of the details. I believe you already know. Zixin said. Understood. Let's go. In Kong nodded. The group of people headed toward the center of the plain. Soon, they were close to the center of the plain. Zixin, In Kong, and the others stopped. If they continued forward, they would be close to the barrier. The ancestral demon blood crystal is in that treasure box. They stood in the sky and Zixin pointed ahead. With Lu Ming and the others' eyesight, it was easy for them to see things 100,000 miles away. As expected, there was a treasure box floating in the air 100,000 miles away. A light barrier emanated from the treasure box, enveloping an area of 100,000 miles. This light barrier was a barrier set up by the human monarch. Shaoqing, you guys stay here. I'll go alone. Lu Ming said to Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Wan Shun, and the others. No, I want to go with you. Xian Yanqing immediately shook his head. Yes, let's go together. The more people there are, the higher the chances. The myriad god added. No, you can't go. You're not humans. You'll be in great danger if you go. Lu Ming immediately refused. The celestial race and the abyss devils couldn't cross the barrier. The Dandan, the myriad god, and the bone demon weren't humans. The consequences of crossing the barrier were unpredictable. I am a human. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming stubbornly. In the end, Lu Ming sighed. He knew that he couldn't persuade Xian Yanqing. He pulled Xian Yanqing's hand and said with a smile, Then let's go together. Lu Ming pulled Xian Yanqing and flew forward. As he flew, he took Qiuqiu and handed it to the bone demon for safekeeping. Although they were humans, they didn't dare to be careless. The two of them were covered in layers of defensive energy, raising their defenses to the limit. At the same time, they were highly focused. If they sensed something wrong, they would immediately retreat. A moment later, the two of them charged into the barrier. They were fine. After the two of them charged into the barrier, they weren't attacked, nor were they turned to ashes. The abyss devils were overjoyed. They're really fine. That's great. Ha, our race is saved. Zixin, In Kong, and the others were overjoyed. As abyss devils, they would immediately be attacked by the barrier and turned to ashes the moment they stepped into the barrier. It didn't matter how strong they were. However, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were completely fine. Sure enough, they guessed correctly. The barrier set up by the human monarch wouldn't attack humans. However, in reality, it wasn't that nothing happened at all as they imagined. The moment Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing stepped into the area where the barrier was, they felt a powerful pressure pressing down on them. Fortunately, with the two of their cultivation, it wasn't difficult to resist this pressure. Go! Lu Ming gave a light shout, his power erupting as he charged forward. With one step, he was 100 miles away. Xian Yanqing's speed was also extremely fast, not much slower than Lu Ming. In less than a minute, the two of them charged out a distance of 50,000 miles. But after arriving here, the two of their speed became slower and slower. Because the closer they got to the treasure box, the greater the pressure they suffered. Arriving here, they could no longer maintain their previous speed. They could only reduce their speed and advance slowly. Outside the barrier, Zixin and the others also saw the problem. It seems that although they weren't attacked by the barrier, they seemed to be under a lot of pressure. Zixin said, It should be. Based on the situation, the closer they are to the treasure box, the greater the pressure. Let's hope they can reach the bottom. Yin Kong sighed. All the evil demons had grave expressions, afraid that Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing wouldn't reach the end and obtain the demon ancestor blood crystal. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing slowed down and maintained a constant speed. The distance between them and the treasure box was also constantly shrinking. 50,000 miles, 40,000 miles, 30,000 miles. Soon, they were less than 10,000 miles away from the treasure box. However, when they stepped within 10,000 miles, the pressure on them suddenly increased. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's bodies couldn't help but sway. Zi Xian, Yin Kong, and the others' hearts also trembled along with Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's bodies. Little Qing, can you still hold on? Lu Ming asked. This little bit of pressure is nothing. Xian Yanqing smiled and continued to move forward. A faint devil steel appeared on her body, breaking through the heavy pressure. That was the immeasurable devil steel. I must reach the end and obtain the demon ancestor blood crystal. This is the only way to resist the heavenly palace. Lu Ming roared in his heart, and the battle symbol art's ninefold battle power erupted. Forbidden power circulated crazily as he continued to move forward. 10,000 miles, 9,000 miles, 8,000 miles. The distance between them continued to shrink, and in the end, they entered the range of 1,000 miles. Within the range of 1,000 miles, the pressure rose sharply. Bang! Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's bodies shook violently, and they retreated several steps. Zi Xian, Yin Kong, and the others' hearts shook violently, and their faces paled. Can't we break through? Zi Xian whispered, and despair flashed in her eyes. If they couldn't obtain the demon ancestor blood crystal, the evil demons would face the end of the world. Their remaining demon ancestor blood crystal powder wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. As time passed, the power of the demon ancestor blood crystal powder would be exhausted, and they would no longer be able to suppress the demon ancestor insect. At that time, they would also be corroded by the demon ancestor insect and become the heavenly human tribe's puppets. That would be worse than death. Chapter 47-45. I don't believe it. Break for me. Xian Yanqing bellowed. The immeasurable devil steel appeared above her head, and a powerful energy rushed into Xian Yanqing's body. Bang, bang, bang. Xian Yanqing took several steps forward, entering the range of 1,000 li. When Xian Yanqing entered the range of 1,000 li, her body shook violently as if she had suffered a heavy blow. Even the immeasurable devil steel shook violently. Xian Yanqing staggered backward again, vomiting a mouthful of blood, and her face was pale. Little Qing, don't force yourself. Leave the rest to me. Lu Ming said to Xian Yanqing. Then he also stepped forward. When he took a step forward, he circulated his strength to the limit, and even the origin energy inside the origin seed burst out. Bang! He also stepped into the range of 1,000 li. In an instant, an earth-shattering power pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body trembled, and he roared angrily, trying his best to resist this power. If only I had the human king's body with me. At this time, a thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. The barrier here was laid down by the human king. If the human king's body was with him, he could probably break the barrier here and successfully obtain the archdevil ancestor's blood crystal. But now, the human king's body was with Fei Huang, and it had sealed itself along with her. At that time, who would have thought that something like this would happen? If he had known, Lu Ming would have brought the human king's body with him. But it was too late for regrets now. Now, he could only rely on himself. Break! Lu Ming roared, and he circulated his strength to the limit. Dots of light appeared on his body, and these dots of light connected to each other, forming a door. Behind the door, a yellow muddy road appeared, leading to the depths of darkness. On the yellow muddy road, there was a pool of fresh blood. At this time, the pool of blood suddenly emitted a bright light, as if there was a force rushing forward. In an instant, the pressure on Lu Ming disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? Why did the pressure from the outside world disappear? Was it because of this pool of blood? Just now, this pool of blood emitting a bright light had been successfully captured by Lu Ming. That's right, it must be because of this pool of blood. What was the origin of this pool of blood that it was so mysterious? This was the second time. The first time, when Lu Ming was in the immortal burial sea of blood in the Thousand Autumns battlefield, he was in a desperate situation and entered a mysterious state. At that time, there was a strange movement in the pool of blood. A gush of energy surged into Lu Ming's body, causing his combat ability to soar, and he killed a powerful enemy in one fell swoop. And now, the pool of blood had changed again. But this time, it was different. This time, Lu Ming did not enter that state. The bloodstains did not gush into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's strength did not increase. The bloodstains seemed to have only eliminated the external pressure. But why did the pool of blood was drawn by the barrier? Lu Ming could not figure it out. However, now was not the time to think about this. Getting the demon ancestor blood crystal was more important. Without the pressure, Lu Ming's speed suddenly increased. Like a bolt of lightning, he rushed to the treasure box. In just an instant, Lu Ming arrived beside the treasure box. This, Zixian, Yin Kong, and the others were stunned. They did not understand why Lu Ming, who looked like he could not bear it, suddenly increased his speed and rushed to the treasure box. The treasure box was half open. A fist-sized gem lay in the treasure box. The gem was blood red, as if it was condensed from blood. It emitted an ancient aura. This was the demon ancestor blood crystal. Lu Ming reached out to open the treasure box. Without any obstruction, he took out the demon ancestor blood crystal from the treasure box. It was unobstructed. Swoosh. After getting the demon ancestor blood crystal, Lu Ming did not stop. He quickly retreated. He retreated for about 100,000 miles, but he was still within the boundary of the barrier. I got it. The demon ancestor blood crystal. It's really the demon ancestor blood crystal. I can feel the blood in my body boiling. How many years has it been? The demon ancestor blood crystal has finally appeared again. Ha! All the demons around were ecstatic and excited. They finally got the demon ancestor blood crystal. They were saved. All the demons stared at Lu Ming with burning eyes. Only a few people calmed down quickly, such as Zixian and Yin Kong. They saw that Lu Ming did not immediately walk out of the boundary of the barrier. A strange look flashed in their eyes. Brother Lu Ming, do you have any other conditions? Just say it. Zixian said. She was unusually intelligent. When she saw that Lu Ming did not immediately walk out of the barrier, she knew that Lu Ming most likely had other conditions. That's right. I do have a condition. When your two races walk out of the dark universe and head to the universe's starry sky, I hope that you will restrain your subordinates and not kill the innocent. Lu Ming said. After all, demons were evil, bloodthirsty, and greedy. Especially those ordinary demons. Once the demons entered the primitive universe, they would be like wild beasts that had escaped from their cages. They would probably hunt the creatures of the primitive universe without restraint. All living beings would become food for the evil demons, plunging them into misery and suffering. Although Lu Ming was not that kind, he did not want to see the entire universe suffer because of him. I can promise you that. Restrain your subordinates. After all, our enemy is only the heavenly human race. Zixian said. I can also promise you that. Yin Kong nodded. But Brother Lu, after all, there are many demons. It's impossible to completely restrain them. We can only try our best. There will still be some killings. Zixian said again. As long as you try your best to restrain them. Lu Ming nodded. It was impossible for the demons to enter the universe so peacefully. It would definitely cause a disaster. If he had a choice, Lu Ming did not want to let the demons enter the universe's starry sky. However, he had no other choice but to do so. Swoosh. Lu Ming moved and left the boundary. He came to Zixian and the others. Who will take care of the ancestral demon blood crystal? Lu Ming asked. We've already discussed it. The two races will take turns to take care of it. However, the most important thing now is to get rid of the ancestral demon worm. Yin Kong, I'll bring the ancestral demon blood crystal back to Purple Eye Demon City. You guys immediately return to Purple Eye Demon City to get rid of the ancestral demon worm. Zixian said. All right, let's do that. Yin Kong said. Yin Kong immediately brought all the members of the Silver Wing clan back to the Silver Wing clan to gather their people. Meanwhile, Zi Xian brought Lu Ming and the others back to Purple Eye Demon City. There was a small lake in the north of Purple Eye Demon City. The lake was not big. It was only about 10 miles wide. The lake water was light red and there were many Purple Eye demons soaking in it. The ancestral demon blood crystals powder was mixed in the lake water. The demons in the lake were using the power of the ancestral demon blood crystals powder to suppress the ancestral demon worm in their bodies. Chapter 47-46. At this moment, the small lake was surrounded by purple-eyed demons. These demons stared at Zi Xian with burning eyes. They had heard that a few humans had helped Zi Xian bring back the ancestral demon blood crystal. They were saved. Under the gazes of countless demons, Zi Xian took out the ancestral demon blood crystal. Is this the ancestral demon blood crystal? It must be. I can sense an ancient and lofty aura from it. It's as if I'm just a speck of dust in front of it. It must be the ancestral demon blood crystal. Many demons were discussing excitedly. Zi Xian carried the ancestral demon blood crystal and stepped into the air. She came to the center of the lake and slowly descended. She and the ancestral demon blood crystal sank into the lake. The moment the ancestral demon blood crystal entered the lake, strands of red energy spread out and fused into the lake. The color of the lake quickly darkened. It was originally light red, but it quickly turned dark red. Soon, all the lake water turned dark red, like blood. At this moment, the demons in the lake suddenly trembled. Their faces revealed complicated expressions of pain and joy. On the shore, all the demons watched nervously. They prayed that it would be useful to destroy the ancestral demon worms. This process lasted for about an hour. After an hour, all the demons in the lake suddenly trembled. Their faces revealed extremely comfortable expressions. Following that, black smoke rose from their bodies. When the black smoke dissipated, all the demons opened their eyes. Haha, the ancestral demon worms in my body are all gone. Me too. Not a single one of them is left. They're all destroyed. I've recovered. The ancestral demon blood crystal is really useful. The demons in the lake laughed wildly. They were extremely excited. The demons on the shore were also excited. They were wild with joy. They were saved. They were saved. The energy of the ancestral demon blood crystal could indeed completely destroy the ancestral demon worms. Whoosh! Whoosh! The demons in the lake rushed out of the lake and stood high in the sky. Zi Xian also rushed out of the lake with the ancestral demon blood crystal. She carefully observed the ancestral demon blood crystal and found that it had not changed. Its energy was still abundant. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were overjoyed. If the ancestral demon blood crystal was effective, then they had the power to deal with the Heavenly Palace. Heaven Destroyer. There was finally some hope. Next batch, enter the lake. Zi Xian's voice sounded. Splash, splash, several figures dashed into the lake. The lake had a circumference of 10 miles, so it was quite easy for 100,000 demons to enter at once. About 100,000 demons entered the lake. This time, Zi Xian did not put the fiend ancestor blood crystal into the lake because the color of the lake was still very dark. The energy was still abundant. About an hour later, the second batch of 100,000 abyss devils that entered the lake also succeeded. The demon ancestor worms in their bodies were all wiped out. The ancestral demon blood crystals blood demon crystal, demon ancestral demon worms. Demon. The ancestral demon worms as demon worms, the demons demon crystal demons. The fourth followed, blood ran batch demon blood. After 5 batches, the lake's water finally faded. Zi Xian put the ancestral demon blood crystal back into the lake. Soon, the lake turned dark red again. As one of the 4 great royal races, the purple-eyed demons had a large population. Not to mention the side branches, just the main branch alone numbered in the billions. 100,000 per hour was too slow. It would take a few years to kill 1 billion purple-eyed demons. Not to mention the side branches and the silver-winged demons. It would take too long to eliminate all the ancestral demon worms. However, it was impossible not to eliminate all of them. As time passed, those demons would be completely corroded and controlled by the heavenly palace. That would be even more troublesome. Finally, they decided to find another place to eliminate the ancestral demon worms. They found a large lake. The lake had a radius of 100,000 miles. It was not difficult for billions of demons to enter at once. Zi Xian put the ancestral demon blood crystal into the large lake. The ancestral demon blood crystal immediately emitted strands of red energy. The lake water quickly turned red. In less than a day, the lake water within a radius of 100,000 miles had turned dark red. Zi Xian took out the ancestral demon blood crystal. She found that the ancestral demon blood crystal's energy had only decreased a little. Compared to the vast energy of the ancestral demon blood crystal, it was just a drop in the ocean. Begin! Zi Xian shouted. Swish! Swish! Countless demons rushed into the lake. There were countless demons. There were at least billions of them. Billions of demons. It was simply overwhelming. An hour later, the ancestral demon worms in the billions of demons were eliminated by the energy of the ancestral demon blood crystal. There were cheers at the scene. Next was the silver-winged demon race. Yin Kong had already brought all the silver-winged demons here. The silver-winged demons also entered the lake and spent an hour to eliminate the ancestral demon worms in their bodies. Just like that, in just a few days, all the demons under the two great royal races had eliminated the ancestral demon worms. There was still a trace of the ancestral demon blood crystal's energy in their bodies. They were not afraid of the ancestral demon worms in the air. At least in the short term, they would not be corroded by the ancestral demon worms. The two great royal demon races naturally cheered and were wild with joy. They were even more grateful to Lu Ming and the others for being able to bring out the ancestral demon blood crystal. 3 days later, a large number of experts had gathered in the silver-winged demons' demon capital. Zi Xian brought a large number of purple-eyed demons experts here. Lu Ming and the others were naturally among them. This was because they were going to set off from here and kill their way into the primitive universe. The reason why they came to the silver-winged demons' demon capital was because the silver-winged demons had a supreme treasure called the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. This supreme treasure required a large number of experts to activate. It was extremely powerful. The most powerful thing was its defensive power. Once activated, its defensive power would be astonishing. They planned to ride the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins and kill their way into the primitive universe. After all, the Heavenly Palace now controlled a large number of experts. There were more than 22,000 Divine Lord Realm experts. The total number of Divine Lord Realm demons that the purple-eyed demons and silver-winged demons could mobilize was only about 5,000. It was far less than the Heavenly Palace. It was very dangerous to rashly kill their way out. They needed a treasure like the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. According to Yin Kong, activating the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins required 120,000 Demon Emperor Realm demons and 3,600 Demon Lord Realm demons. If the two great royal races worked together, they would be able to mobilize these demons. The Demon Emperor Realm was equivalent to the God Emperor Realm. The number of Demon Emperors in this realm was much higher than the Demon Lord Realm. Whether it was God Emperors or Demon Emperors, they were much easier to reach than Divine Lords or Demon Lords. The Divine Lord Realm was a huge hurdle. In the primitive universe, only 1 out of 100 God Emperors could break through to the Divine Lord Realm. Chapter 47-47. A huge metal fortress floated above the silver-winged demonic city. This was the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. Let's go! Let's go! Yin Kong and Zi Xian both gave their orders. Immediately, the experts of the two royal demon families flew towards the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. There were a total of 120,000 Demon Emperors and 5,000 Demon Lords. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others naturally followed them into the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. Not long after, the 120,000 Demon Emperors and 3,600 Demon Lords all arrived and began to activate the Demon Fortress of Yin Ruins. Rumble! The demon fortress of In ruins roared and flew out, disappearing above the silver-winged demonic city in the blink of an eye. As it flew out, the demon fortress of In ruins quickly shrank until it was the size of an ordinary room. The speed of the demon fortress of In ruins was astonishing. Not long after, they flew across the boundless territory and arrived outside Southern Sky City, where the illusory heavenly palace cultivated in the dark universe. Of course, there was still some distance between them and the heavenly palace did not discover them. Lu Ming, Yin Yi, Zixian, and the others gathered together to discuss. This is the city built by the heavenly palace. Let's charge in and destroy them. That's right. Since the heavenly palace does not have a demon lord guarding it, destroying them will be a piece of cake. A few demon experts said. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent and hatred. Those who could speak here were all top experts at the peak of the demon lord level and extremely powerful. I don't think it's appropriate. Lu Ming shook his head. Why is it inappropriate? A burly demon stared at Lu Ming. If not for the fact that Lu Ming had done them a great favor, he would have scolded him. If we attack here, the upper echelons of the heavenly palace will quickly receive the news and send experts to surround us. Lu Ming said, We have the demon fortress of In ruins. Why should we be afraid of them? This time, we will kill our way into the primitive universe and fight the heavenly palace to the death. A burly demon roared. He looked like he wanted to kill the people from the heavenly palace. Lu Ming shook his head. It looked like most demons weren't good at using their brains. No wonder they had been toyed around by the heavenly human tribe and trapped in the dark universe for their entire lives. We abyss devils have always stayed in the dark universe. We're not familiar with the current situation of the primitive universe. However, Lu Ming and the others are much more familiar with it. Let's listen to their opinions. Zixian waved her hand, indicating for the other demons not to speak and to listen to Lu Ming. We have too few experts in a head-on confrontation, which is extremely disadvantageous for us. We need to maximize our value. As for the city in front of us, there are no experts at all. Even if we destroy it, it won't be a great loss to the heavenly human tribe. It won't affect the heavenly human tribe's overall battle strength at all. Lu Ming said, You're right. In that case, what should we do next? Zixian nodded and asked. Our biggest advantage now is that the heavenly human tribe doesn't know that you've gotten rid of the demon ancestor worm, so they don't guard against you at all. So, we need to do more things before they find out. It has to be something big, something more valuable than attacking the city. Lu Ming said, Brother Lu, please continue. Zixian said. The other demons also came to their senses and nodded, agreeing that it was indeed so. I know that the heavenly palace has a heavenly prison where many prisoners are kept. Of course, these prisoners refer to the heavenly palace's prisoners. All of them have a deep grudge against the heavenly palace and the heavenly human tribe. There are many experts among them. If we let them out first, it will definitely be a headache for the heavenly palace. It will also definitely be able to reduce the combat strength of the heavenly human tribe. Lu Ming said, Heavenly prison? I see. All right, then we'll listen to Brother Lu. After we get out, the first thing we'll do is to attack the heavenly prison. Zixian, Yin Kong, and the others nodded in agreement. I have a spatial treasure that can temporarily hide the demon castle of In ruins and take it out quietly. It won't attract the attention of the heavenly palace. Lu Ming said. After that, Lu Ming, Dandan, Xian Yanqing, and the others left the demon castle of In ruins. Lu Ming put the demon castle of In ruins into the chaos ring. They quietly entered Nantian City and left the dark universe through Nantian City, returning to the primitive universe. After arriving in the primitive universe, Lu Ming took the demon castle of In ruins out of the chaos ring. Is this the primitive universe? Ha, I didn't expect to come to the primitive universe in my lifetime. Is this the universe? It's so beautiful. All the abyss devils looked at the universe through the demon castle of In ruins, including Zixian. They were stunned for a moment. After a while, they came back to their senses. Lu Ming entered the demon castle of In ruins and discussed the next steps with Zixian and the others. At the same time, Lu Ming pointed in the direction of the heavenly prison. The demon castle of Yin ruins emitted strong ripples as it broke through space and rushed toward the heavenly prison. Each of the 4 heavenly palaces had an entrance to the heavenly prison. Lu Ming didn't know the entrances to the other 3 heavenly palaces, but Lu Ming knew the entrance to the heavenly prison in the dreamy heavenly palace. The heavenly prison's entrance wasn't too far from the dark universe's entrance. It didn't take long for them to arrive. At this point, Lu Ming put the demon castle of Yin ruins back into the chaos ring. Only a few of them remained outside. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Guimo, Wan Xin, Zixien Yin Kong, and more than a dozen peak demon lords. There are some heavenly humans guarding the entrance. However, there's only one divine lord. The rest are all god emperors. A peak demon lord scanned the area with his spiritual consciousness. The heavenly humans around the heavenly prison's entrance had nowhere to hide. Obviously, there were more experts guarding this place in the past. However, the divine lords had been transferred away recently to attack the Heaven Destroyer. Only one divine lord was left to guard this place. Moreover, he wasn't very strong. Attack. Kill them as fast as you can. Don't alert the others. Zixien ordered. Bush. Lu Ming and the others turned into streaks of light and rushed toward a palace. Especially the dozen peak demon lords. Their speed was too fast. They rushed into the palace in a few breaths. In the palace, there was only one divine lord and a few dozen god emperors. Facing more than a dozen peak demon lords, the gap was too big. They couldn't resist at all. They were killed before they could even resist. By the time Lu Ming and the group entered the main hall, the entire main hall had already been taken over. Then, they gathered around the entrance. Dandan, I'll leave the rest to you. Lu Ming said. This was because there was a rune array seal around the entrance. They wanted to open the seal without making a sound. Don't worry. Leave it to me. This array is very simple. It won't take long for it to be broken silently. Dandan grinned and began to break the array. Chapter 47-48. This time, Dandan wasn't bragging. In just a little over an hour, Dandan broke the seal and opened the entrance to the heavenly prison. Next, Zixien left behind a few peak demon lord experts to guard the place. If there was anything wrong, they would send a message to them. As for the others, they all followed Lu Ming and the others into the heavenly prison. Heavenly human tribe, you didn't expect me to return to the heavenly prison like this, did you? Lu Ming stood in midair, looking at the vast land of the heavenly prison. His eyes shone brightly. The heavenly prison was still the same as before. The heart flame devil fire would constantly invade one's body, causing one's negative emotions to explode. In the end, the heart demon would erupt and cause one to go completely crazy. This was very similar to the infinite demon soul of the infinite demon abyss. The infinite demon soul could also trigger the negative emotions of living beings, causing their heart demon to erupt. In the end, they would be controlled by the heart demon and fall into madness. However, the heart flame devil fire's power was far inferior to the infinite demon soul. The infinite demon soul could easily affect even peak divine master existences. As for the heart flame devil fire, it had almost no effect on divine master existences. Lu Ming and the others easily blocked the attack of the heart flame devil fire. Let's go! Lu Ming identified the direction and flew in a certain direction. Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Zixien, and the others followed. There weren't many of them, only a dozen or so. The other abyss devils were in the demon castle of Yin ruins and were placed in the chaos ring by Lu Ming. It was more convenient to move with fewer people. However, after Lu Ming and the rest flew for a distance, they were stopped by someone. 8 figures blocked their path. Hee, unfamiliar faces that I've never seen before? Are you new here? Then become our playthings. One of the elders sneered. These 8 people looked at Lu Ming and the others with eyes full of murderous intent, coldness, anticipation, and viciousness. Their eyes were blood red. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that these people had been attacked by the heart flame devil fire. Their negative emotions had erupted, and the evil side of their hearts had been completely revealed. They would do some perverted things. Why talk so much nonsense with them? This chick is mine. A burly man laughed wildly. His blood-red eyes stared fixedly at Xian Yanqing, filled with greed. He laughed heartily as he charged towards Xian Yanqing. A large hand reached out to grab Xian Yanqing. Eighth Great Supreme God Layer. The big man had the strength of the Eighth Great Supreme God Layer. He was one of the strongest cultivators in the prison. "You're courting death." Dandan sighed. He knew that the burly man was dead meat. Sure enough, when the burly man was about to approach Xian Yanqing, an aura silently spread out from Xian Yanqing's body. The burly man's body suddenly stiffened in the air, his eyes filled with fear. Then, like dust, his body was blown away by the wind and completely turned into ashes. The other 7 people opened their eyes wide. "What kind of despicable trick did you use?" shouted the gloomy old man. He was bewildered. "Get lost!" shouted Lu Ming. He didn't want to waste time talking nonsense with them. His Divine Master Realm aura burst out and pressed down on them. Plop, plop. The 7 people were pressed down by Lu Ming's aura and fell to the ground like raindrops. It's a Divine Master. The 7 people screamed in fear. At that moment, the heart flame devil fire seemed to have disappeared. They felt cold all over. There was no ferociousness or murderous intent in their eyes, only fear. There was a Divine Master Realm cultivator among them. Could it be that they weren't imprisoned? Could they be experts from the Heavenly Palace? "Get lost," shouted Lu Ming coldly. He withdrew his aura. The 7 people felt as if they had been pardoned. They didn't dare to stay any longer. In the blink of an eye, they all fled. Lu Ming didn't kill them because he couldn't be bothered to. They were only affected by the heart flame devil fire. Moreover, if they were released later, they could affect the Heavenly Palace a little. This was just a small interlude. They continued their journey. After that, they would occasionally encounter those crazy people who would attack them, but they were easily dealt with by them. Those who were completely crazy were easily killed by them. As for those who still had a little bit of intelligence, as long as Lu Ming and the rest released a trace of aura, the other party would flee in horror. Lu Ming and the rest didn't spend too much time before they arrived at the place where the Sky Heart tribe used to live. When Lu Ming arrived, he realized that something was wrong. The place where the Sky Heart tribe lived was much more dilapidated than before. Lu Ming released his spiritual senses and realized that the number of people in the Sky Heart tribe was much less than before. Moreover, many of them seemed to be in bad states. They had been invaded by the Heart Flame Devil Fire. Lu Ming immediately determined that the Sky Heart tribe members who were in bad states had been invaded by the Heart Flame Devil Fire. They were filled with tyrannical emotions. How could this be? The Sky Heart tribe was able to refine jades of the Heart Flame Devil Fire. Back then, Lu Ming had used jades of the heart to resist the invasion of the Heart Flame Devil Fire. How could the Sky Heart tribe members who could refine jades of the heart be invaded by the Heart Flame Devil Fire? Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He realized that he was familiar with a few people. The clan leader of the Sky Heart tribe, Xin Fan. There was also an elder of the Sky Heart tribe, Xin Wu. Lu Ming was more familiar with these 2 people back then. They seemed to have gathered to discuss something. "Let's go!" Lu Ming shouted. In a flash, they disappeared from their original positions. In the next instant, they appeared in front of Xin Fan and the rest. "Who are you?" Xin Fan and the rest were shocked. They had not realized that someone was so close to them. Their hair stood on end and they instinctively retreated. "Clan leader Xin Fan, elder Xin Wu, it's me," Lu Ming said. "It's you, Mu Yun." Soon, Xin Fan and the rest saw Lu Ming clearly and exclaimed in shock. When Lu Ming first entered this place, he had used the name Mu Yun. When they saw that it was Lu Ming, Xin Fan and the rest calmed down. "Mu Yun, why are you here again? Didn't the people of the heavenly human tribe say that you had escaped? Are you captured again?" Xin Fan asked in astonishment. "Everyone, Mu Yun is actually my alias. My real name is Lu Ming." Lu Ming explained. "Lu Ming." Xin Fan and the rest nodded. They were not too surprised. It was normal to use an alias when roaming the outside world. There was nothing to be surprised about. "I wasn't captured. I barged in on my own accord," Lu Ming said. "What? Xin Fan and the rest were dumbfounded. Someone had barged into the heavenly prison on his own accord. Wasn't he walking right into a trap? They could not figure it out. Everyone, what's going on with the Sky Heart tribe? Also, all of you seem to have been invaded by the Heart Flame Demon Fire. Lu Ming said. He realized that Xin Fan, Xin Wu and the rest seemed to have been invaded by the Heart Flame Demon Fire. They were not in the right state. It was just that their cultivation base was high enough to suppress it. Chapter 47-49. Sai, we have to start from when Lu Ming left. Xin Fan sighed and continued to explain. It turned out that not long after Lu Ming and the third demon sword had escaped, the heavenly human tribe had arrived and pinned the blame of Lu Ming and the third demon sword's escape on the Sky Heart tribe. They had killed many members of the Sky Heart tribe. In the end, they discovered the secret of the Jades of Heart and took away all the Jades of Heart. They also ordered the Sky Heart tribe not to refine any more Jades of Heart. The heavenly human tribe would send people to investigate every once in a while. If they found that the Sky Heart tribe continued to refine Jades of Heart, they would kill some of the Sky Heart tribe members as punishment. The Sky Heart tribe had no choice but to do as they were told. All these years, many of the Sky Heart tribe members were tortured by the Heart Flame Demon Fire. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. It seemed like the Sky Heart tribe was implicated. However, he would save the Sky Heart tribe members this time to repay their kindness. Xin Fan, I promised you that I would save all of you if I had the chance. This time, I am here to bring all of you out. Lu Ming said. Bring us out? Xin Fan, Xin Wu and the others were stunned. Lu Ming could bring them out? There were many powerful figures guarding the vicinity of the prison. There were quite a number of Almighty Realm experts. Would Lu Ming be able to bring them out? There is a huge change in the chaotic universe. There are no experts from the Heavenly Palace around the Heavenly Prison. Don't worry, we can enter and leave easily. Lu Ming said. Xin Fan and the others were still skeptical. They looked at Zixian and the others. Although Zixian and the others were evil demons, they looked no different from humans. Moreover, they kept their evil demon wings. Their cultivation was much higher than Xin Fan and the others. Therefore, Xin Fan and the others did not recognize Zixian and the others as evil demons. Don't you want to get out? Zixian said as a powerful aura emanated from her body. Almighty! Xin Fan and the others were shocked. They did not expect Zixian to be almighty at such a young age. This time, Lu Ming actually brought a divine master powerhouse in. Could he really bring them out? Their eyes were filled with hope and a hint of excitement. Clan leader Xin Fan, I'll have to trouble you to quickly gather all the Sky Heart clansmen. Also, send someone to spread the news in the heavenly prison. Tell them that they can leave the heavenly prison and ask everyone to wait at the exit, Lu Ming said. Good, good. Xin Fan nodded repeatedly. Then he instructed an elder to carry out the task. This was their only chance to escape, so they had to take the risk. Clan leader Xin Fan, I'm going to another prison. There are more experts locked up there. I want to save them all. Lu Ming said. All right, let's go. Elder Xin Fan and the others led Lu Ming to the entrance of another prison. Back then, this place had been sealed by chains formed by the power of void. Back then, it had taken Lu Ming many years to break the seal. But now, this place was sealed again. It was still the enormous chains, still the power of void destruction. The difference was that the number of chains had increased from 49 to 81. After you left, the experts of the heavenly human tribe came and sealed this place again. I'm afraid it will take a long time to break it. Clan leader Xin Fan sighed. Back then, Lu Ming took 490 years to break the 49 chains. Now that there were 81 chains, how long would it take? They were a little worried. They were afraid that they would not be able to leave if they delayed too long. Don't worry, it won't take too long. Lu Ming stepped out and walked towards the chains. As he did so, Lu Ming released his aura. Boom! The void was shrouded by Lu Ming's aura. Xin Fan, Xin Wu, and the others almost fell to their knees. Their eyes were wide open and their faces were filled with shock. They exclaimed, Divine Master, it's the Divine Master. Gosh, he's definitely not an ordinary divine master. I've felt this aura before. He's an advanced divine master. Xin Fan and the others were shocked beyond words. Their hearts were in turmoil and they could not calm down. How many years had it been? How many years had it been? Lu Ming had reached such a cultivation level. How did he cultivate? Was he still human? Lu Ming took a step forward and his body grew rapidly. Soon, he had turned into a huge figure. With a palm strike, forbidden energy surged out and rushed towards the chains. Lu Ming's current cultivation was many times more powerful than it had been in the past. When the chains formed by the void energy came into contact with the forbidden energy, they melted like snow meeting fire. In just a few breaths' time, the chains were refined. In the past, Lu Ming needed 10 years. Now, he only needed a few breaths' time. The main reason was that Lu Ming's cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds. Boom, boom. Lu Ming did not stop. Both of his palms struck out continuously. A vast taboo force gushed out continuously, refining the nihility chains continuously. In just a few minutes, all 81 chains had been refined. The entrance to the other great prison was revealed. Let's go. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Zixian, and the others rushed into the entrance and disappeared. Let's go and take a look. Xin Fan and the others gritted their teeth and followed. The other great prison did not seem to have changed much. In the vast universe, there were many huge corpses floating in the air. These corpses were mostly the corpses of divine masters. There were all kinds of races. There were corpses of the dragon race, phoenix race, sky heart race, heaven and earth race, primordial divine spirit race. Many races had once been incomparably glorious in history, but now they had all disappeared. Our divine masters. Clan leader Xin Fan and the others looked distressed. Clan leader Xin Fan, how many divine masters did the Sky Heart race have in total? Lu Ming asked. When we were at our peak, we had close to 200 divine masters. However, when we were attacked by the heavenly human race, many of them died in battle. However, there are still more than 100 left. Clan leader Xin Fan said. However, there are only a dozen corpses of divine masters in the Sky Heart race. Lu Ming said. Young friend Lu Ming, are you saying that there might still be divine masters alive in our race? Xin Fan and the others' eyes lit up. It's just a guess. I can't guarantee it. Lu Ming said. This was something that he had already suspected before. Although there were many corpses floating in the Great Prison, there were only a dozen corpses of divine masters in the Sky Heart race. The Sky Heart race used to be one of the top 10 races. Naturally, they had more than a dozen divine masters. Where were the other divine masters? Were they all turned into ashes? Chapter 4750. After that, Lu Ming and the others searched carefully. As for the divine master corpses, Lu Ming did not plan to take them away. The main reason was that many of the divine master corpses were too big. For example, the corpses of some primordial gods were as big as planets. Although Lu Ming's primordial ring was not small, it could not take away so many corpses. He might as well leave them here. However, Lu Ming put away some broken divine weapons. Of course, most of these broken divine weapons were primary-grade divine weapons. It was almost impossible for them to be broken source-grade divine weapons because the heavenly human race would not leave them here. After circling around, they arrived at the region of black holes. There were some black holes in the universe here. Back then, the third demon sword had been imprisoned in a black hole. Those who could be imprisoned in a black hole were definitely experts. There's a sealing power. Has it sealed itself? Lu Ming and the others passed by a black hole. From afar, they could see a stone coffin in the center of the black hole. There were some runes and formations on the coffin. They guessed that there was very likely an origin realm existence in the coffin, but it had sealed itself because of the origin tribulation. Then, they circled around again. There were many black holes here, but only a few of them seemed to have life inside. Most of the black holes might have things like stone coffins, but they might also be empty. This was because the power of the black holes was very shocking. Even divine masters would find it difficult to cross and would be torn apart. Even Lu Ming and the others found it difficult to enter with their current strength. Even if they forced their way in, it would be difficult for them to come out. Back then, Lu Ming had only been able to enter and leave because of the third demon sword. These black holes are very likely to imprison origin realm existences. Zi Xian sighed. Lu Ming also sighed inside. He estimated that there were more than a dozen origin realm experts imprisoned in these black holes. Unfortunately, it was the origin tribulation now. Even if those origin realm experts did not die, they had used their remaining power to seal themselves. If it were in the past, they could think of a way to save these people. There doesn't seem to be any divine masters in this prison. There's nothing other than corpses. Xian Yanqing frowned. Maybe there are other prisons. Lu Ming said. This was because something wasn't right. Could it be that the celestial race had killed all of the divine master realm existences? According to the celestial human tribe's way of doing things, this shouldn't be the case. Perhaps there was a heavenly prison that was specially used to imprison divine masters. Perhaps these heavenly prisons were all connected. Let's look around carefully. Lu Ming said. Everyone continued to search, not missing a single inch. Just like that, they searched for a few days and finally found something. Dandan discovered an anomaly in a certain area. It seemed to be the fluctuation of an array formation. Dandan used his technique, and as expected, a huge vortex appeared in the air. The vortex was sealed by chains. It was still a chain formed from the power of void. The eyes of Lu Ming and the others lit up. It was very likely that this was the passageway that led to another prison. Previously, it had been concealed by a concealment formation. If it weren't for Dandan's proficiency in formations, it wouldn't have been easy to find. Then, Lu Ming took action and used his forbidden power to break the void destruction chains. Then they entered the vortex. Through the vortex, they entered an unfamiliar world. There was no heart flame demonic fire in this place. It was just that the divine chi of heaven and earth was somewhat dry. As far as the eye could see, it was a desolate place. Look, there's a tower over there. Dandan shouted. The others also saw a tower in the distance. It was at least 100 zhang tall. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming said. Everyone flew toward the tower. This is... As they got closer, everyone was shocked. It was a metal tower. The interior of the tower was hollow, and a figure could be seen floating in midair. His body was bound by metal chains, and the other end of the metal chains was connected to the metal tower. The bottom of the metal tower was hollow. It was a bottomless cave. There was a kind of flame constantly rushing out from the bottom, covering the figure in the metal tower. Heart flame demonic fire. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that the flame rushing out from the bottom of the metal tower was heart flame demonic fire. It was just that the density of the heart flame demonic fire was many times denser than the heavenly prison of the sky heart race. Since the heart flame demonic fire was so many times denser, its might would definitely be much stronger as well. Even divine lords would find it hard to resist. As though sensing Lu Ming and the others, the figure in the metal tower opened his eyes. His eyes were blood red, filled with violent emotions as he struggled madly. Clang, clang, clang. Those chains vibrated unceasingly, letting out clanging sounds. Bastard of the heavenly palace, kill me if you can, kill me if you can, despicable and shameless bastard. The figure in the metal tower roared in anger. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and he was so angry that he was about to go crazy. This was a middle-aged man. What shocked Lu Ming was that this man was from one of the top 10 races, the Battle Saint tribe. Didn't the Battle Saint tribe submit to the heavenly human race? The heavenly palace actually imprisoned an expert from the Battle Saint tribe here? Clearly, the heavenly human race imprisoned this man in the metal tower, making him suffer the torture of the heart flame demonic fire. Such methods were truly ruthless. We aren't people from the heavenly palace. Lu Ming spoke. Bullshit, don't think that you can lie to me. The heavenly jade butterfly has already been taken away by you guys. How long do you guys want to imprison me for? If you have the capabilities, just kill me. Kill me. The muscular man from the Battle Saint tribe howled unceasingly. Clearly, he was suffering endless torture here and wanted to die. I've already said that we aren't people from the heavenly palace. We are from the heaven destroyer. As he spoke, Lu Ming took out his battle god's spear and swept it out, aiming for the metal tower. Boom! The battle god's spear slammed into the metal tower, causing it to directly explode. Many of the chains that were wrapped around the burly man's body also exploded. Boom! The moment the chains shattered, the muscular man from the Battle Saint tribe was like a ferocious tiger that was released from its cage. A powerful aura erupted forth as his body swelled up. Violent energy gushed forth from him, shattering the remaining chains that coiled around him. Swish, the muscular man soared into the air and rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Whether you guys are from the heavenly palace or not, I will know after I personally capture you and perform a soul search on you. The muscular man coldly spoke. Clearly, he was greatly affected by the devil fire and was filled with tyrannical emotions. The moment he was released, he wanted to kill crazily to vent his emotions. Divine Lord Realm, and a peak-level Divine Lord Realm expert at that. Lu Ming wasn't shocked. Instead, he felt joy. Judging from the aura the muscular man exuded, he was actually a peak-level Divine Lord Realm expert. In that case, this place was indeed a prison used to imprison Divine Lords. Leave it to me. Bone Demon spoke. His figure shot out like a bolt of lightning as he blasted out with his palm, colliding with the muscular man's attack. Bang! How could the muscular man be a match for Bone Demon? With just a single strike, the muscular man's body trembled violently as he retreated explosively, coughing out blood. Bone Demon's combat prowess was equivalent to the strongest Lord of Heaven. Since the muscular man was trapped here, his combat prowess wasn't at his peak at all. The disparity between him and Bone Demon was too great. Chapter 4751. After Guillemot injured his opponent, he didn't stop and continued to attack. With a swipe of his bone claws, they expanded rapidly, enveloping the entire space as he grabbed at the expert from the Battle Saint tribe. His opponent roared in rage and did his best to defend. However, it was useless. The disparity was too great. Also, Guillemot's body was incomparably tough. No matter how his opponent attacked, it was useless. At the next instant, his opponent was grabbed by Guillemot's bone claws. Crackling sounds rang out from his body as it was unknown how many of his bones were broken. After that, Guillemot smashed his opponent onto the ground, causing him to be unable to attack for a period of time. After being beaten up by Guillemot, his opponent seemed to have regained some clarity. Wait a minute, are you guys really not from the heavenly palace? The expert from the Battle Saint tribe shouted. Nonsense. If we are from the heavenly palace, why would we release you? Since you are so arrogant, you would already be dead. Also, don't compare us to those bastards from the heavenly palace. Ah, those bastards. Dandan coldly snorted, his face filled with disdain. The eyes of the expert from the Battle Saint tribe flashed. Actually, he was already somewhat convinced. There was no way the people from the heavenly palace would break the metal tower to release him. However, if these people weren't from the heavenly palace, how did they enter? Hence, he directly asked, since you guys aren't from the heavenly palace, how did you guys enter this place? Right now, a great change has occurred in the universe. The celestial race, the demons and the heaven destroyer are all fighting against each other. The heavenly prison became empty and hence, we came in. Alright, we are from the heaven destroyer. Lu Ming spoke. You guys are from the heaven destroyer? Wait a minute, you guys came in from the outside. Doesn't that mean that you guys can break out from the inside? The eyes of the expert from the Battle Saint tribe brightened. He had been imprisoned here for several stellar years. Now that there was a chance, he naturally wanted to break out. Of course we can. We have already passed through 2 heavenly prisons and connected them. Alright, is this the place where godlords are imprisoned? Lu Ming asked. That's right. This is the heavenly prison for divine lords. The heavenly palace imprisons all the divine lords who haven't died yet. Each divine lord is locked up in a metal tower and tortured by the heart flame demon fire. If they can't take it anymore and fall into madness, they'll become puppets of the heavenly human race and be controlled by them. An expert from the Battle Saint tribe spoke. What? Lu Ming's pupils constricted slightly. It seemed that the use of the heart flame devil fire had exceeded his imagination. He had previously thought that some people would surrender to the celestial tribe on their own accord because they couldn't withstand the torment of the heart flame demonic fire. Meanwhile, those who had completely sunk into madness would eventually die of madness. It seemed that he had still underestimated the heavenly human tribe. The celestial race actually had a way to control those who had completely fallen into madness and turn them into their puppets. Since you are from the Battle Saint tribe and the Battle Saint tribe isn't a lackey of the celestial race? Oh, a subordinate? Why were you captured? Dandan asked. This is how despicable and shameless the celestial race is. The eyes of the expert from the Battle Saint tribe flashed with bone-deep hatred. Once, me and a few of my tribesmen obtained a supreme treasure called the Heavenly Jade Plate in a ruin in the universe. Who would have thought that the celestial race would find out about it and ambushed us along the way? 2 of my tribesmen died while I was captured by the celestial race. The Heavenly Jade Plate was taken away and I was imprisoned here, being tortured. Right now, my tribesmen have no idea that I was imprisoned here. They might think that I died in the ruins of the universe. I will definitely take revenge for this. The expert from the Battle Saint tribe roared in rage. At the same time, he gave a simple explanation of his origins. This person was called Battle God Wuxia and was a peak expert of the Battle Saint tribe. At the same time, he was also a peak-level monstrous genius. In the future, he would definitely be able to break through to the origin realm. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing and the others glanced at each other as joy flashed in their eyes. If they released this person and he returned to the Battle Saint tribe, he might cause a great impact to the Battle Saint tribe. If the Battle Saint tribe was extremely dissatisfied with the celestial race because of this, that would be for the best. There's no time to lose. Let's move out immediately and release the other deity lords. Lu Ming spoke. I will go with you guys. Battle God Wuxia spoke. Lu Ming nodded. They didn't delay and flew forward. Not long after, they discovered another metal pagoda. Within the metal pagoda, there was another deity lord imprisoned. This deity lord was actually a deity lord from the Heaven and Earth race. The Heaven and Earth race was one of the top 10 races in the past, but they were destroyed by the celestial race. The remaining members of their race were all trapped in the Heaven Destroyer. They didn't expect that there would still be someone who wasn't dead and was imprisoned here by the celestial race. This was normal. Although the lifespan of a deity lord couldn't be compared to an origin realm expert who could live as long as the universe, the lifespan of a deity lord was extremely long. It wasn't a problem for them to live for hundreds of years or even longer. For example, the primordial god race had a deity lord who had survived from the incipient god era until now. Therefore, although the Heaven and Earth race had been destroyed for a very long time, it was normal for their deity lord to be able to survive until now. Boom! Lu Ming smashed the metal pagoda with a single move, saving the deity lord from the Heaven and Earth race. If you want to leave this place, go to the exit. Lu Ming didn't waste any more words. He pointed out the direction of the exit and they left in a flash. Although the deity lord was tortured severely by the heart flame devil fire and his eyes were filled with malevolence and madness, he hadn't completely lost his mind. He still retained a trace of consciousness. With the cultivation of a deity lord, once he escaped from the heart flame devil fire, it was still possible for him to suppress the negative emotions in his heart and slowly recover. True enough, after Lu Ming and the others left, the powerhouses of the Heaven and Earth clan managed to recover and dash toward the exit. Not long after, Lu Ming and the others saw the third metal pagoda. It's a deity lord of my race. Jianghu clan leader suddenly shouted, extremely agitated. The person imprisoned in the metal pagoda was a deity lord of the Heaven's Heart race. As expected, not all of the deity lords of the Heaven's Heart race had died. Some of them were still alive, but they were imprisoned here. Boom! This time, Xian Yanqing took action. He took out the primordial god weapon and smashed the metal pagoda, freeing the deity lord of the Heaven's Heart race. The souls of the Heaven's Heart race were extremely powerful to begin with. They were also extremely strong against the heart flame devil fire. After escaping from the heart flame devil fire, they quickly regained their consciousness. They were naturally overjoyed when they saw Wu and the others. At the same time, they were informed that there were at least a few dozen deity lords of the Heaven's Heart race that were still alive. This made Wu and the others even more overjoyed. They continued to set off. The metal pagoda was discovered one by one. A deity lord was imprisoned in most of the metal pagoda. They were very direct. They smashed the metal pagoda and told the deity lord that he could leave. They pointed out the direction of the exit and left immediately. Chapter 4752. Needless to say, Lu Ming knew that the divine masters imprisoned here would not miss any opportunity. Even if they did not believe Lu Ming and the others, they would not give up as long as there was a chance. They had been tortured here all this time. Even if there was only a slight chance, they would still try. They would definitely head toward the exit. Therefore, Lu Ming and the others moved quickly. In a little more than a day, they had walked around the entire prison. The main reason was that the prison was not very big. There were not many divine masters in the first place. The place where the divine masters were imprisoned was naturally not that big. After walking around, Lu Ming counted silently in his heart. He was shocked to discover that they had released a total of 918 almighty. This was a shocking number. They were all divine masters, not godly emperors or godly sovereigns. There were not many races on the list of 10,000 primitive races that had divine masters. Races ranked below 1 or 200 usually did not have any divine masters. There were 918 divine masters in this prison. Of course, these divine masters came from various races. For example, the Heaven and Earth race, the Sky Heart race, the Dragon race, and other races that had been destroyed. There were also experts from the current top 10 races, such as the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha race. There were also primitive divine spirits and experts from the human race. There were only so many divine masters from various races combined. Of course, Lu Ming did not plan to take these divine masters away. He wanted to bring them along with the demons to deal with the heavenly human race. There was no need for that. These divine masters came from various races. They were greatly affected by the heart flame and devil fire. They were difficult to control and would not listen to him obediently. It was better to let these divine masters go and let them act alone. These divine masters had been tortured by the heavenly human race for many years. Their hatred for the heavenly human race was overwhelming. After they left, they would definitely not leave the matter at that. They would definitely wreak havoc on the heavenly human race. This way, the heavenly human race would definitely send some divine masters to deal with these people. This way, they would be able to restrain some of the divine masters from the heavenly human race and relieve some of the pressure on the Heaven Destroyer. "Let's go," Lu Ming said. They also headed toward the exit. Not long after, they returned to the first prison. At this moment, most of the Sky Heart tribe members had already gathered together. Lu Ming kept all of them into his chaotic desolation ring before heading towards the exit. Swoosh swoosh, along the way, people could be seen flying towards the exit from time to time. There were divine masters in the third prison, and there were also existences below the divine masters in the first prison. Clearly, the Sky Heart race had already spread the news. After that, there was no need for Lu Ming and the others to intervene. All they had to do was wait for these people to go out and wreak havoc for the heavenly human tribe. They quickly flew to the exit and left. There, they saw the fiend expert standing guard outside. After asking around, he learned that many living beings had already escaped from the prison. "Lu Ming, where are we going next?" Zixin asked. After the trip to the prison, they were very impressed with Lu Ming. On this trip, they had released 918 divine masters, as well as a large number of existences below the divine master level. These people were scattered all over the place, which was enough to give the heavenly human tribe a headache. It was more effective than fighting the heavenly human tribe directly. "Let's go to the heavenly palace, the dreamy heavenly palace." Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly as he spoke. That's right, he was going to attack the heavenly palace. Now that the experts of the heavenly palace were gathered at the Heaven Destroyer base, the heavenly palace's defenses must be extremely weak. There was no better opportunity than now. There must be a lot of treasures in the heavenly palace. If they could take down the heavenly palace, the heavenly human tribe would definitely go crazy. On the other hand, Lu Ming had another idea, and that was the desolate crystals. He really needed the desolate crystals for his cultivation. Not only him, but Dandan and the myriad gods also needed the desolate crystals for their cultivation. A heavenly palace would more or less have some desolate crystals. Attack the heavenly palace? That's great. Zixien In Kong and the other abyss devils' eyes lit up. Attacking the heavenly palace was every abyss devil's dream. Let's go. I roughly know the location of the dreamy heavenly palace. Lu Ming said. Then, Lu Ming released the demon fortress of Yin Ruins, and everyone entered it. Then, the demon fortress of Yin Ruins soared into the sky and flew in the direction Lu Ming had pointed out. Lu Ming had never been to the real dreamy heavenly palace. When he was a heavenly soldier, he had always stayed in Dreamy City. Dreamy City wasn't the dreamy heavenly palace. It was just an outer city. However, he had been a heavenly soldier for a long time, and he had heard the rough location of the dreamy heavenly palace. It shouldn't be too far from Dreamy City. Before long, Lu Ming and the others found something. A spectacular scene appeared in the starry sky. In the starry sky, there were 360 stars and 3,600 planets. They were arranged in a row, forming a large formation. This formation surrounded a huge palace. This palace was made of stone. It was incomparably huge, no smaller than a planet. Looking at it from afar, one could feel an ancient and desolate aura. Is this the dreamy heavenly palace? It's really extravagant, using 360 stars and 3,600 planets to form a formation. Lu Ming muttered. He couldn't help but marvel at the heavenly palace's extravagance. The most extraordinary thing is that stone palace, which is the dreamy heavenly palace. It's a treasure left behind from the previous era. Zixin said. A treasure from the previous era? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, and the others were shocked and exclaimed. Yes, and it's a treasure of the human race. The eldritch continent of the previous era was truly vast and boundless. The human race ruled over countless territories, and naturally, it was divided into countless forces of various sizes, such as sects and countries. Among them, there was a king of a country. In order to guard the borders, he built 9 stone palaces to guard the borders and suppress the fate of the country. Later, the eldritch universe was destroyed. For some reason, the heavenly human race actually obtained these 9 stone palaces and used them as the foundation to build the heavenly palace. Zixin explained. It seemed that the demons knew a lot about the heavenly human race, as expected of a race left behind from the previous era. It said that there were a total of 9 heavenly palaces in the past. It seems that the 9 stone palaces were used as the foundation, but it seems that 4 of them have been destroyed. Lu Ming muttered. Although these stone palaces have gone through the change of eras and are no longer the same as before, even origin realm existences can't destroy them. It's only possible if there's someone who has surpassed origin realm. Zixin said. We don't need to destroy them. We just need to take all the treasures inside. Dandan, do you have a way to break this formation? Lu Ming laughed and then asked Dandan. This formation is indeed very powerful. It borrows the power of the stars. If it was operated by some divine lords, I wouldn't be able to do anything. But now, the formation is operating on its own, so it's much easier. I can find its weak points and then gather the attacks of many divine lords to break this formation. Dandan said. Chapter 4753. Dandan was very confident. He flew forward as soon as he finished speaking. The others did not go out. They stayed in the demon fortress of Yin Ruins. The demon fortress of Yin Ruins shrunk and hid behind a meteorite. It was not time for them to show themselves yet. Dandan's appearance was enough. Dandan flew to the edge of the formation and began to observe it. Who is it? This is the heavenly palace. Do you have a death wish? A loud roar came from the heavenly palace. Then, a group of heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals flew out. The one who roared was a heavenly human tribe heavenly general. He was a god emperor. Dandan did not bother with them. He continued to observe the formation. How dare you? Go out and kill him. A heavenly general roared. they rushed out. Clearly, the formation did not hinder the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. They quickly rushed out of the formation and rushed toward Dandan. "You are the ones who have a death wish," Dandan shouted coldly. He waved his hand and a large formation appeared in the void. Sword light burst out and charged toward the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. "Oh no! It's a divine master! Retreat!" A heavenly general shouted in fear. But it was too late. How could they catch up with Dandan? The sword light swept across and killed all the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals. Not a single one was left alive. Damn it! A furious roar came from the heavenly palace. This scene was naturally seen by the people in the heavenly palace. The other party is a divine master. What should we do? Quickly inform Lord Yi Chu Xiaochuan. He is now the strongest person in the heavenly palace. Some heavenly generals discussed and then immediately transmitted their voices. There were still divine masters in the dreamy heavenly palace, although there were only a few of them. Soon after, a burly figure stepped out of the void. This person's aura was strong. He was a 9th-level divine master. He rushed toward Dandan and shouted, "How dare you trespass into the heavenly palace?" Help! Dandan shouted and quickly retreated. As for the other party, he quickly rushed out of the range of the array and rushed towards Dandan. "Leave him to me," Guillemot said. He left the devil castle of In ruins and took a step forward. The space around him split apart and he disappeared into it. In the next moment, a pitch-black bone claw suddenly extended from the top of the heavenly human expert's head. Like a demonic blade, it slashed at the heavenly human expert's head. The other party also noticed it in time. With a furious roar, he blocked with all his strength and slashed his sword at the bone demon's bone claw. With a loud clang, the battle sword of the heavenly human race elite was shattered into pieces. The bone palm did not stop there as it continued to chop down on the head of the heavenly human race elite. With a plop, this 9th-level divine master of the celestial race fell. Inside the heavenly palace, the heavenly soldiers and heavenly generals turned pale with fright. The other party has hidden experts and came prepared. Quick, spread the news, spread the news. Get people to spread the news to the various lords in the universe ruins. A divine master expert roared furiously. Immediately, someone began to spread the news. Of course, the base of the Heaven Destroyer was too far away from the heavenly human race elite. Moreover, it was deep in the universe ruins. They could not send the news directly to the universe ruins. They could only spread the news to other places first. Then, the people in other places would spread the news to the experts in the universe ruins. Lu Ming and the others were calm. This was within their expectations. It was only a matter of time before they were exposed. Since they had come to attack the dreamy heavenly palace, they would definitely be exposed. However, the base of the Heaven Destroyer was extremely far away from here. By the time the experts of the Heavenly Palace received the news and sent people over, they would most likely have succeeded. Dandan continued to study the array without any distractions. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Dandan finally found the weak point of the array. Lu Ming and the others took action. The Devil Castle of In ruins flew out and rapidly grew in size. At the same time, Lu Ming and the others, as well as a large number of Divine Master experts, flew out. Their terrifying auras shook the starry sky. The heavenly soldiers and divine generals in the heavenly palace were almost scared to death. It's the fiends. It's the fiends experts. There are so many fiend experts. Aren't the fiends under our control? Why are there still so many fiend experts here? What happened? Quick, spread the news. Quick, activate the array. Many people in the heavenly palace yelled. They were extremely shocked. Dandan had already taken action. He transformed into his world turtle form. The turtle shell behind him was densely engraved with runes and arrays. At this moment, Dandan's turtle shell glowed. Countless runes and arrays emitted light. Then, countless runes flew out and flew toward the star array of the heavenly palace. Soon, the entire area was filled with runes. This is the weak point. Attack this place with all your strength and you will be able to break it. Dandan shouted. Zi Xian, Yin Kong, and the others shouted. This time, not all the fiend experts were mobilized. Only 3,000 fiend experts were mobilized. According to Dandan, 3,000 fiend experts were enough. It was better not to expose all their strength. Boom, boom, boom. 3,000 fiend god lords attacked together. Demonic chi filled the sky and blasted toward the star array. The entire array started to shake violently. If it were in the past, with a fiend expert powering the array, even if they found the weak point, 3,000 fiend masters would not be able to break it. However, it was different now. The ones powering the array were only god emperors. The violent shaking made some of the god emperors powering the array scream. Their bodies exploded, and they died on the spot. In this way, the other god emperors did not dare to continue controlling the array. After about an hour, a crack was forcefully torn open in the array. The crack continued to expand. In the end, a huge hole was blasted open. 1,000 of you will work together to stop the array from closing. The other 2,000 will follow us into the heavenly palace. Zi Xian and Yin Kong gave out orders. Of the 5,000 fiend masters, 1,000 would be used to maintain the hole in the array. 2,000 would follow them into the heavenly palace. The other 2,000 would control the fiend castle of Yin ruins and guard outside the array. Once they noticed something wrong, they would inform them immediately. Charge in. Zi Xian and Yin Kong gave the order and led the 2,000 fiend masters into the heavenly palace. Of course, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Dandan, Guimo, and Wanshan also followed in. Retreat! 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 Run! The heavenly soldiers and deity generals in the heavenly palace were terrified. They retreated and fled in panic. It was not that they were afraid of death and did not dare to fight. The main reason was that the difference was too big. There were 2,000 fiend masters. How could they fight? No matter how many of them they had, it was useless. They would be destroyed in an instant when facing 2,000 fiend masters. Going up to fight was clearly courting death. Naturally, no one would be so foolish. The 2,000 fiend masters charged into the heavenly palace. Some of the slower heavenly soldiers and deity generals were killed.